Life's greatest adventures.
Okay, buddy, here we go. Just keep your eye on the ball. All right, just swing right through it. Yeah, good job. Way to go. Hey, run it out. Okay.
Great road trips start with great service. Graham Tire, your tire store next door, with 5 convenient Lincoln locations, getting you to the places that matter most.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet, GMC, and Chevrolet. And GMC Truck Month is here. Absolutely huge discounts and 2.9% for 72 months. I also just wanted to share a little bit more about the Koppel family. They've been serving the Omaha and Lincoln and surrounding communities for over 50 years with great customer service and small town charm. That's always been our motto, and we absolutely will not be undersold. It truly is confident buying and confident driving. So come on in, meet the team, check us out at Koppel or at koppelcars.com. All deals with approved credit.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
When something breaks, you want someone you can trust to fix it right. Empire Repair is now open in Waverly and ready to serve our community with reliable auto repair and maintenance. From routine service to bigger repairs, our team is here to keep you on the road. Stop by Empire Repair in Waverly or call 402-786-2224 to schedule your service today. Empire Repair, proud to serve Waverly.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions with pay starting at 23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offer great pay, health, dental, and vision, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln. This is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln, Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Troy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped and picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score! Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black shirts answer the call one more time.
And Austin Orman. Hour one of Old School is sponsored by Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in, Old School. Nick Wyman filling in for Austin Orman. More than likely throughout the entire week, Austin out vacation time for him, for the Orman family and everybody. But Nick Wyman filling in. You'll see a lot of different faces in here throughout the week, Harrison Arns and company. But the face that stays the same. Jay Foreman is here on a Monday, beginning of June. Can't believe it's already here. Jay, it's been a while since you and me talked. I think it was maybe basketball season. I think it was maybe basketball season last time. You've been in here with Harrison, et cetera, across the board. But here we are on a lovely, gorgeous, hot Tuesday or Monday. Gosh, my days are all thrown off. I'm usually in here on Tuesdays. But how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm usually in here with Austin. Austin's handling his business, and Harrison stepped in. And so it's business as usual. Look, it's June. This year, unlike most years, there's a lot of stuff going on with Husker sports, obviously being very successful and having, positivity. And then obviously with some of the news today, we got some NFL news. And then obviously we got to dive into some Husker news as well. So there's no days off. It's June. It's the 6th month of the year. You're halfway through. So all your little New Year's resolutions, you better get with it.
Yeah, you can get back on. You can get back on it. That's the best part about
because you got to November. Once Thanksgiving hits, it's all out the door. Because you got Thanksgiving and then you got Christmas. What seems like a couple weeks later, and after that, it's just eggnog, turkey.
Yeah, you're done. I'd say mid-November when you start.
Mid-November. It's 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. Once they start coming out with that, what is it? What's that little smelling stuff they come out with at Thanksgiving? What is it?
Pumpkin spice?
Pumpkin spice.
That's like almost October sometimes, too.
Once they come out with pumpkin spice, if you haven't hit your goals is over. It's over.
It's pretty good, though. I will say pumpkin spice. Now you got me thinking Thanksgiving. That's a fun time. My birthday's around then, too. It's the 25th of November.
That's your favorite holiday?
100%. I think it is. Food, football, my birthday.
Yeah, you can't.
You have state football's usually around then too. It's a good week.
Yeah, it is great. Great month.
It's a good week. Around with that, we gotta tag off of the text line here. So for Eric chimes in, my man Jay, I don't take days off. Foreman, hope you have a great. Have you had a great grilling weekend? Are you a big griller?
Oh yeah.
What's on the agenda?
This week or last week?
This week and last week.
Last week it was chicken thighs.
Sounds good to me.
And I can make. I have the chicken thighs recipe that I make into. I guess you call it chicken sliders, but chicken sandwiches. You know what I'm saying? I'm really gonna get pork shoulder or pork steak and hit them up.
Okay.
Yeah, I do eat the swine. And then obviously I like I always try to mix in the day of eating fish and stuff like that for sure.
Yeah, I
salmon and all that.
Do it all. I guess. John Clinton says, long time no see. He's a go brag about Tomahawk, big boy, and then drumstick to build off the conversation that ended Bach in the black shirt. I think we have to discuss this since you weren't in here to defend yourself. Farley laid down the challenge for a boxing match with you for some reason because he's all in these celebrity boxing matches. He saw the Johnny Manziel one. And
he saw
like,
Ray J. You see, that's the problem. That what Farley's problem is.
What is it?
He would go to the movie theater back in the day and watch Rocky,
and think he can do
1, 2, 3, 4, and think he could go.
That's just
I mean, with Farley, I would just be body blow after body blow after body blow, just breaking him down.
It's a tactical sport. That's what it is. And he laid down the challenge. He said that
he got short arms too. I'd be just jabbing.
We got to do the tail of the tape. Yeah, he probably does. I think he might have probably a better reach on him. I think.
Oh, I know I do.
Yeah?
I sized him up already. Because he's been selling wolf tickets for about 2 weeks.
He has been. It's since he saw the Jake Paul stuff. He's seen the Johnny Manziel celebrity. I use the word loosely there. He sees that and he's like, oh, I could probably do that. And then he's been throwing out challenge. He said he got you 3 rounds, 2-minute rounds, and he thinks he's got you. I asked who's going to be the judges, me, Rudy, and Swim. He goes, I ain't gonna need no judge. It's gonna be a first-round knockout. He calling his shot, and I'm like, I can't let it slide.
Listen, I can promise you right now, I'd put $1,000 down to nothing. I'd put him to sleep, not just beat him. I'd put him to sleep.
Justin Hickman says he put money on Jay. Farley is over his head. Yeah, it's not the first time. Thomas and Lincoln says, Rudy, you ready for Wednesday? Well, this is not Rudy. This is Nick Wyman now. Rudy tag teaming out of that one. And then John and Cortland says, you have at it. I'll be sitting back watching. We shall see. I mean, some people picking your side, some people just letting guys go back at it. John Cortland says Farley can dance, though. So,
Oh, he got a little quicker, but once I get him in that corner, it's over. once I cut the corner off on him, it's over. It's over.
I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it in general. So remember, Hour 1 of Old School brought to you by Heartland Nebraska Windows. As always, thank them for sponsoring Old School Hour 1, Hour 2, and Hour 3. We have a loaded show on tap here. Obviously, a lot has gone on with Husker Nation. We can dive into a little bit about that. Baseball playing yesterday, softball as well. But a lot of news across the NBA Finals is set. The NFL, we had a little bit of a quiet season after the draft, but boy, the month of June, a lot of news throughout the NFL world. We'll get into that later on in the show. Nebraska football, you had Trey Taylor at the Elite 11, named the MVP of that. We'll talk about that as well. But I first, Jay, Nebraska baseball, Nebraska softball. Let's just start with baseball. First time hosting a regional since 2008. Regardless of the results, I think you can take away what happened against Ole Miss. Weather delayed game. You obviously beat South Dakota State, lose to Ole Miss, then you lose to Arizona State. Regardless of the results, I think that my biggest takeaway was the environment at Haymarket Park, because Willie Bloomquist, he was the Arizona State coach. He talked about thanked Nebraska for playing this environment. He also tried to get a little bit of Nebraska fans to come down for that game last night as well to kind of play in
nobody trying to hear that stuff.
Play in the Sun Devils thing. But I think just the environment in general, just to have that and see what Nebraska can do and build off this season, because they still have a lot of talent. They obviously losing a couple seniors, but it's kind of like basketball. You have that magic of a season where whether it's going to end at some point, only one team holds the trophy at the end. You still have magic there, and see what you can do next year in a Big Ten conference that has names playing in right now. You have USC playing tonight. You have Oregon moving on. UCLA gets sent home. But Nebraska baseball, regardless of the season, what a season and what a journey they took us on since February.
Yeah, look, I understand that, you could be encapsulated by, the last game, the plays that you missed the double play, then it turns into an avalanche. In regards to the baseball team, you could go back to the night before and you're kind of, after Horn goes out, you're kind of playing, I would say you're probably playing, footsie with the baseball, just out of character type of stuff. But when you look at the whole season, start to finish, how much growth they had from last year and the year before to this year, if you don't view it as a step in the right direction and positive, even with how they perform. Now, how they performed should never be okay, because they're better than that. I'm sure Coach Bolt would say the same thing. They probably turned that double play in, easily 9 out of 10 times, high 80s, low 90s out of 100 times, right? And so that's the difference between maybe, Arizona State and Nebraska right now. And that's where you have a benchmark to work towards moving forward. But, look, I think last year, not this year, obviously, but last year, Coach Bolt said that they wanted to host the regional. They didn't do that. Obviously, they won the Big Ten, weren't able to do so. I think he said it even the year before. So you were able to do it by being consistently good and one of the best teams in the nation, obviously a top 25 team throughout the whole year, and very, very consistent. And so you're not just inching forward. It was a big step in the right direction. Now the pressure is on. What's crazy about the baseball and softball team is you hit this you ascend or hit this apex. It's great. You don't play up to your potential for whatever reasons, which a lot of fans need to understand. You're playing against really good teams. Yes. Arizona State is a bomb squad.
That's a 3 seed.
And they should have been a 2 seed.
Yes.
Right. And you got to think Ole Miss probably has the strongest arms throughout the whole tournament, throughout the whole nation, as far as velocity. 92 plus and consistently throwing it. That means, if you have 14 pitchers, all of them can throw heat. But as soon as that's over, all the things that you did last year is put to the side or put to bed for another year, another time, right? That team will be celebrated at some point in time in the future. Now, the future is now. Literally, when, you say your regards to the team, in the locker room, you do your press conference, and you have to get on the phone and you have to be ready for the portal and you have to be ready to move forward. And it's just a byproduct of the way that sports are right now. But then the only way that you're able to continue the progress, be consistent, not be like a one-off goodwill story, you know what I mean? And really being forgotten about this time next year, is to move forward immediately you can respect what you did, but you also have to understand you have to get to the point where you're reloading and not rebuilding. And that's where not only the baseball team, but the softball team, when we start talking about them, that's where they're at as well.
Exactly. And there's an expectation, 43-17 season, coming off back-to-back Big Ten tournament championships. You lose that Big Ten tournament game to Oregon. That's not the end of the season. I know a lot of people are kind of pushing, the panic button entering postseason play, but that was, only their, a couple tens of losses this season. And then you go to the game against South Dakota State. There were a lot of, people pessimistic, like, why are you starting your ace? Why are you starting Carson Yassa? At the end of the day, you can't look ahead. I think that's my biggest thing when watching baseball, especially these regionals, not just here in Lincoln, but just the other 15 sites. You can't be looking a game ahead to the next day because you have to win the first one. I mean, look what Milwaukee did against Auburn. Yeah, Auburn goes 10-0 on them, and then Auburn's playing them again in a winner take all tonight, but they had to backtrack their way through the losers bracket and starting 1-0 and then potentially moving to 2-0 like an Ole Miss team did here. Your percentages of moving on to a super regional or even further in the tournament, your odds go up so much farther. So I think
they go up by 60%.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you handle the first game, depending on if you're the 1 seed, the 2, even if you're the 4 seed like Milwaukee, you got to win that first game because it's huge. People talked about it, and then the next day, Ty Horn, he threw, left it all out there. I think that's the biggest thing with him. He threw
almost
over 100,
close to a perfect game, and
you had to ride him the way he was playing.
You had to ride him. You go back and forth, and you say, okay, was it a batter or two too long? But then you went through like 4 pitchers after that. Guys need to step up, man. I mean, at some point in time, you got to understand that the moment's big. This is what you come to Nebraska for. This is what you play, these club and travel baseball teams throughout, your 6th grade on up.
Mm-hmm.
You got to step up and handle your business and not solely depend on your starter to throw, a career game and almost perfect. And you can't back him up. You can't hit. You can't field. And so those are the things. Those are the growing pains that you have. Having as a young I'll call it a young and upcoming program. And so it was definitely a positive. It's going to be interesting to see how they, rebuild and who they bring in and how they, start over. And, rebuild this team identity, the chemistry, because the hard thing is to do is this. There's probably some more depth on this roster than actually play, right? And there's guys that probably had to play lesser roles this year because they decided to go with some new guys that they brought in last year. Those guys are still viable players at the Power 4 level or at another school that's going to come and pluck those guys off your roster. Why is that important? It destroys your depth. It destroys a lot of ways. It can, I say, it doesn't, it's not, we don't know yet, can take away from your identity. Those nuts and bolts guys, the guys that are willing or reluctantly going to take lesser roles and still produce, be good in the locker room or in the dugout, are guys that are irreplaceable. It will take away the fabric of your team. And so you not only have to go recruit a new player like Nick Wyman, you have to re-recruit Jay Foreman, right? Because if you're not re-recruiting the roster that you have, you're not reloading, you're going to be rebuilding. And that's the hard part for coaches right now because you have to delegate, but then also you have to be involved at every step of the way.
And with this Nebraska baseball team, they still have young guys like Jeter Wordley. That was a freshman catcher. Being a catcher as a freshman.
Local kid, too.
At Lincoln East. There's a little pipeline there, guys. Brother on the team. That was a cool moment for the Wordley family. You had Jalen pitching in that game, walks leadoff guy, strikes out the next 3, catching brother and brother. It's probably something they dreamed about in the backyard to have that kind of moment. That's another storyline to look for in the next year because Jeter, behind the plate as a freshman, that's a tough task. Being not only a D1 catcher, but also be a freshman for that entire pitching staff and everything with it. 1171 says they lost to the number 9 team in the SEC and the 4th best team in Arizona State in a down year for the Big 12. Speaks volumes to the discrepancy between the Big 10 and other power conferences in the country. I don't even look at that.
I don't look at that.
I don't look at it like that.
That's a special hitting Arizona State team.
The top 4 hitters in their lineup have double-digit home runs,
right.
And most conferences
83 in their top 4 guys.
Yes.
Nebraska has like 7. Let's just say 70. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a heck of a run. That means this is what people don't understand. What I'll just do in soft quotes: development. They have to bring those guys in whenever, whether it's the portal, freshman, or whatever. they have to develop, and then they have to produce. And they have to have the opportunity and be in the right rotation to be successful. So, sure, the Big 12, top to bottom, may be better than the Big 10. It doesn't matter. Nebraska is a very good team. They didn't perform well at the, at the regional. Because let's be honest, kind of going, until the, 6th or 7th inning against South Dakota State, probably if you played that game 9 or 10 times, Nebraska doesn't. They did. So you overextend yourself emotionally right there. You get what I'm saying? And then you go the next day, and then you start to get out of character against Ole Miss. And Ole Miss is, came in with a little bit of swag. They went to the, umpteenth hours of the night before. And
they felt disrespected as the team that they thought they should have been one of the 16 host sites.
Right.
Too.
So you're playing a team that has you in their crosshairs indirectly, but you're directly affected by it because a third party decided to what they view as disrespect. So, I think Nebraska, is right where they're at. They got beat by some teams that were playing better at this junction, and there is maybe a difference in baseball top to bottom and the depth, but Nebraska's just got to, adapt. And I think when you build rosters from here on out, and, the Big Ten football had to do this at times, and, softball actually probably needs to go along the same way, is as you build your roster moving forward, you're building to beat the people that gave you the most problems, which would be Bama and Texas in softball, and obviously Arizona State and Ole Miss. Now, what do you need? Do we need to have, more depth in arms and maybe be more strategic how we develop those throughout the season? You know what I'm saying? Or do we need to have more guys that can, move them around the bases or home run, whatever it needs to be that you feel like you're lacking in, and maybe we're exposed in both cases. You need to recruit to that and develop that. And you can't, and this is also important, that the answer always isn't somebody else. You get what I'm saying, Nick?
Makes sense.
Right, because the characteristics that you might be looking for might be in your dugout in your locker room.
You just don't know until you see it on the field.
Until you make it a proposition, you evaluate them, you give them the opportunity, and you have to also have some humility and say, you know what, maybe I should have fostered this relationship with this or this player or these players during the season with the future in mind, but I'm operating in the present.
I also think this. People are like, oh, Nebraska get a tough regional. I think all the regionals are tough. I don't care what the names are, 1 through 4. I think every team of the field of 64 earned the right to be there, whether you're from the Summit League, whether you're from the MAC, whether you're from a Power 4 conference. And like you mentioned it, teams are hot this time of year. The records may not jump out the page. Milwaukee team they lost 5 of their first 28 games.
Yeah.
They were, they struggled, and they were not good. And they took teams toe to toe. And even look at today, like St. John's, a team who's in the Big East, which again,
is not a baseball.
Not a baseball. I didn't really know they even had baseball until they started winning. Honestly, I saw them creating the Big East tournament championship, and St. John's makes it as a 4 seed. Yeah. UConn's kind of the primary team of the Big East baseball conference. And they just beat Florida State, a team that's, Dick Hauser Field,
notoriously good.
Mike Martin was the longtime coach. There's so many, names, so many different players have gone through that program. And St. John's beat them 5-4. And now St. John's is moving on to a super regional. There's so many teams like on the ropes tonight. You have a Texas A&M, another perennial school, Auburn in that Milwaukee game.
And they got smacked last night.
Yeah, USC is a team who limped in here to Lincoln and struggled against Nebraska.
Beat the brakes off of Texas A&M.
It was like 13-1 or something like that.
And then they hit a home run, and they thought they were coming back, and they just shut the door.
And that's just what the beauty of baseball is. Kentucky and West Virginia. Kentucky's a SEC school. They were, 3 outs away from moving on yesterday. West Virginia ends up winning 11-9. Rallied back to win that game.
Yeah.
That's just the beauty of the sport. And we talk about NIL, we talk about playoffs, expansion. Baseball and softball regionals and super regionals over the last month we've been watching them. There's still purity in the game and what it is, because you still need to go out there and play, because as we proved, not just here in Lincoln, but the other 15 sites, anybody can beat anybody on any given day, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah, before we go to break, you got to understand there is no easy regionals, like you said, because you're playing against the best of the best. You had to perform at a high level to get here. South Dakota State had to win, their conference to get there, right?
And they hung with a team like Nebraska, nearly had them on the ropes.
Right. But you got their best pitcher. You're right. And now, obviously, the second game, you saw the difference. But but for one game, you're going to get the best. A lot of those kids are overlooked, and they've seen good pitching, and so you're in for a dogfight. And so the one thing I like about it is that when you get to this type of stage, styles make fights, and you might not have seen these type of pitchers. You can get too comfortable within your own conference, right, and thinking that the whole world revolves around you, but it actually doesn't. And then also with the parity that's actually a byproduct of the transfer portal, you're seeing this now. You're seeing teams like a Northeastern and all this come out of nowhere.
Northeastern has been pretty good, but like you haven't really seen them make some noise. They make the tournament, win their conference, but then they get overmatched. Now you're seeing teams like a Milwaukee, a Northern Illinois, etc. Hanging with the big dogs.
There and playing with the big dogs lets you know it's not that far. The gap isn't that big anymore, and so you have to go out there and play and perform, and that's what makes the winner that much better than teams that are performing. Also, you got to think as you get into playoff mode, your rotation just dwindles down. You get what I'm saying? You know this. So if you think that a team had say they lost, say like next year Nebraska goes and loses a few more games, but they're developing their pitching staff, right? So then they might take some early week staffers and they'll be your middle relievers, and then you really, really have poured into your Friday starters and they're fresh, motivated, focused, and they have their stuff at the maximum. You in some trouble.
Yep.
If you fall in love with the wins and losses, or, and the records, you're just listen. Look at LSU, perennial powerhouse up there in Omaha.
Every team that made it last year are not in the tournament anymore. Regardless, they were eliminated. Regular season play, conference tournament play, or even this weekend, they're all gone.
And it's not talent. They think like, okay, well, we're grandfathered in. Well, now you're at the crib.
And you still got to play the games. You still got to play your games regardless of it. They lost a lot of midweek games across the board. So hour one at Old School, Heartland, Nebraska Windows. Thank you for sponsoring the show. We'll be right back after this break. Old School, Nick Wyman, Jay Foreman hanging on with you on this Monday.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Planet Fitness, we know how important it is to take care of both your mind and body. That's why now through May 15th, all new members get free massage amenities all month long, so you can reset, recover, and leave feeling stronger than when you came in. Join the club for just $1 down, $15 a month, and get free massage amenities for the month of May. No commitment. Deal ends May 15th. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet. See club for details.
Time for a new AC? Call Bryant. Get rebates now and lower operating costs every day. For comfort and efficiency, call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Is your technology built for where you are or for where you're going? Can your current technology support future growth? To break through that invisible ceiling, you need executive-level strategic technology advising. Moser can help your business grow appropriately and efficiently, giving you the ability to turn your tech stack from a cost center into a growth engine. Visit moserit.com/theticket. That's moserit.com/THETICKET to learn more.
I am Harrison Arns, producer of Ticket Weeknights and Weekends right here at 93.7 The Ticket. My favorite things to do in downtown Lincoln are checking out all the local sports events, whether it's basketball, football, volleyball, or even Lincoln Stars hockey. I enjoy it all because I get to experience one of the best sports communities in the country.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
When something breaks, you want someone you can trust to fix it right. Empire Repair is now open in Waverly and ready to serve our community with reliable auto repair and maintenance. From routine service to bigger repairs, our team is here to keep you on the road. Stop by Empire Repair in Waverly or call 402-786-2224 to schedule your service today. Empire Repair, proud to serve Waverly.
Hey there, this is Paul Shield, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Another warm and muggy day here for our Monday. We'll get up to 89 for a high temperature, light northeast wind, and just the slightest chance for a pop-up thunder shower here this afternoon. Tonight, mostly cloudy, 64 for your overnight low. We'll get up to 82 on Tuesday and partly cloudy. I'm meteorologist Aaron Downiford, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nominations for the Step Forward Awards are now open. These awards are the state's most prestigious awards for volunteerism, and we need your help to find outstanding volunteers from your region of the state. If you know a volunteer who deserves to be honored for their service, visit serve.nebraska.gov and click Nominate Now. Nominations must be submitted by June 1st. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at gainatrucking.com.
Hey everyone, it's Brie Marie. Join me and James Rowland every Sunday night at 7 p.m. from April through August for the Finish Line. We'll do laps around the headlines and dirt track racing, let the rubber meet the road for NASCAR news, and talk with special guests, including your favorite local drivers and racing personalities. That's the Finish Line, Sunday at 7 p.m. all summer long on 93.7 The Ticket.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Old School, Nick Wyman filling in for Austin Orman as he is out for this week. But I'm sitting here alongside my man, Jay Foreman. Just got done talking Husker baseball. Their season ends yesterday with a loss to Arizona State in the elimination round. We talk about the loss and everything that was. You're down 10 runs late. The biggest thing, Jay, before we move over to softball, I think, too, this is a team that didn't waver in the moment and say, oh, season's over, we're down 10. They nearly pulled off a huge comeback in that moment. It's a team that didn't just lay over and say, all right, 60 games in, that's just what the season is. We're defined. We lost to Ole Miss in a rain-delayed game, then ended up going in the morning. Then we lost to Arizona State, who hit bombs on us. Season's over. No, they nearly pulled off a comeback, had the tying run, had the bases loaded at one point, and a team that just never wavered. And I think, that's the character of the team. And I think that not only just one guy up the bat, but the entire 1 through 9 and also the guys on the bench, as we mentioned before we move on to softball.
I think the team, obviously Will Bolt, they embody Will Bolt. They had, some little bit of, what to them.
Yes, they did.
Some guile or whatever you want to call it. So they never were going to just roll over and lay down. Now, obviously, you can be extremely disappointed by some of the things in the situation that you put yourself in by not turning that double play, and it turned into a little bit of an avalanche. You can pack up and take your ball home and then be like, oh, that's a good season, and kind of tap out early, or you can just, give yourself a chance. And that's what they were able to do. But I also think on the flip side of it, they need to get past, or just Husker sports in general, we need to get past we were down, we came back, and you get that kind of
right, a little pat on the back.
You played hard. No, we need to, I think you need to start thinking, operating like more alphas.
Yeah.
And this is not even necessarily, really directed at the baseball team. And so it's great that, look, I can tell you what, right now, they're you always want players that are getting paid, no matter if they're getting a little or a lot, to go out there and compete, because that you embody not only the University of Nebraska, but the state. Hardworking people, tough-minded people, don't quit, all the things that you can get into. And so that's good in this day and age, that you have a team that you don't have to, I guess, ride and push and prod to go out there and give it their all, to it lets you know that they're doing a lot of the right things, and they're a lot closer than farther. And so, when you're a lot closer than farther, sometimes that's the hardest place to be. I guess I'll give you an analogy like this, and you see this. I was watching, I watched the Golf Channel because I don't play a lot of golf. I can't play golf. They said the easiest time as a golfer is to go from, like, let's just say a 25 handicap to a 12.
Okay.
Because it's only, you can make up a lot of ground fast. The hardest thing is to go from like a 12 to a 5, because those are minute details, Nick, that you have to focus on and everybody has to buy in on, and they're not sexy, they're mundane, they're boring, but it's day to day, night in and night out, all year long. And then so when you have to, do it on the big stage, it's rinse and repeat. So there's an old saying: make the ordinary look extraordinary.
Yeah. Before we move on to softball, Bill and Bennett chiming in text line. If you always want to join part of the show, 402-464-565 on the Sarah Haven Jewelers text line, or if you want to leave a comment on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Allo Channel 961 if you're watching, or you can listen live over the dial and on the Ticket app where you find your apps, or find the app on your mobile device. Bill and Bennett, Georgia Tech and Oklahoma are in a good battle right now. Yeah, that one going on. There's obviously the game 7s of each regional going on, the winner go home games for all. Georgia Tech leading Oklahoma 4-3 in that one. And then John and Cortland, patting myself on the back. We talk about patting ourselves on the back, Jay. John and Cortland's trying to get on my good side here, saying, Mr. Nick, keep on going. You're pretty good at the day job. Well, I mean, this is still Austin Norman's spot at the end of the day. I'm just the pinch hitter, if we're talking analogy here for Diamond Sports. But I'll take your compliment. Give myself a little pat on the back from John and Cortland. That's you got to take it when you can. Surprised Eric hasn't given me some slack yet. I've gotten a pass so far from him, but he did give us, I will say this, Jay, before we move on to softball. Eric did give us a little bit hard time on Tuesday. He's like, how's the show called Old School when the age between me and Austin average is like 12, is what he was saying.
Yeah. I mean, it was me and DP, and then DP obviously runs the show. And
yeah,
we might have to bring that little retro back.
Throwback Thursday?
Throwback Thursday. We have to do that with DP.
Way back Wednesday.
Yeah, way back or something like that. And get in there, and then we can debate or whatever, like we used to.
There you go.
Yeah.
Old school style, whichever way. But Nebraska softball again yesterday, losing to Texas 3-1 in a game where Jordy Fromm, was perfect through a no hitter throughout that game going into that final. Nebraska scores early, and of course it's the Jordy Fromm home run. First time she did a home run that series, 2020 season for her. First time a player has done that in back-to-back seasons. That's. When we went into the Women's College World Series with Nebraska, everybody, Texas Tech, most of these games are decided by one little play. And that's just how the Women's College World Series operates. It's a smaller diamond, smaller field, but a bloop and a blast can define your season. And Nebraska saw, they saw what the highs of Women's College World Series are with the walk-off late game over the extra inning win with Ava Kuzak and the Hannah Core tying the game. You saw that against Arkansas. And then a couple days later, you lose that game to Alabama. Another game that's defined by one or two pitches from Jordy Fromm. And then you go into Sunday and you're leading, 95% of the way at just a little things, little home run ends up deciding that one. So they saw the highs and lows of the Women's College World Series.
Yeah, it's just a pitch that you probably she wants back, but look, she's one of the most dominant players ever to play, softball. I mean, she's one of the all-time greats, and obviously won 2 national championships earlier in her career, came here and as a part of, turning around this program and bringing Nebraska's softball, to the national stage. But when you get into the College World Series, it's not like Bama or Texas or those batters or any team that they would have faced if they were able to move on hadn't seen good pitching. And so it's all about timing. And there's probably some minute details on how she threw that pitch. And maybe she wanted to throw another, would probably want to go back, of course, and throw another pitch. And, look, they were able to, it's one swing of the bat, 3-run homer. You lose 3-1.
Yeah, you start with the walk, then a base hit, and then that's how it goes down. Yeah. And they only score one run. That I know a lot of people are skeptical of the offense, but it's just you're facing good pitching. I mean, look at every single team in that tournament. Even the teams that went 0-2, Mississippi State or Arkansas, they deserve to be there, winning their games and getting through there. Arkansas, their offense kind of let them down in the end, but they have some really good pitching, really good defense. That's kind of what was really fun about the Nebraska-Arkansas game. Move to the Alabama game. I mean, Jocelyn Brisky. I mean, one of the best pitchers. She's up there with Jordy Fromm and company. There's a lot of really good pitching there. And it comes down to the little things, especially across the board. And I mean, like we said about baseball, this season was huge. I mean, you got to host a regional for the first time, or you got to host a super regional as well. You got to be able to play at home. They're getting renovations to the field. They're getting turf field next season as well. And Ron Revelle has had success not just this decade, but 3 other different decades before this across the board. And this group kind of like embodied kind of what Rhonda Revelle was and what she was able to do with this team because they were very close. She was very emotional in a lot of press conference. I was there for the regionals and the super regionals. She was emotional throughout all that. And it was a journey that he took us on. And, Jordy Fromm, what a career. I mean, maybe one of the greatest transfers in Nebraska athletics history, I would say. Not just softball, but you look down the transfers that have come by because Nebraska softball was still solid. I mean, 2013 was the last thing made the Women's College World Series back then in the 2010s. But when Jordy Fromm, I remember when she announced that she was coming from Oklahoma to spend the next couple of years with Nebraska, tickets sold out instantly. It was a draw right off the bat. And it was kind of a nightmare start. I mean, she got hurt in her first outing coming back and then comes back and then continues to dominate. And it's crazy that that's how this team kind of wraps up their season and Jordy Fromm kind of wraps up her career. I mean, it didn't end with the trophy in hand, but look what it was.
Yeah, I mean, she has a great career. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Obviously, I don't know her, but I can just tell she's a competitor. And so I'm sure she would, like to go out on top. That's what everybody wants. And that's the hard part about sports.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one winner at the end of the year. There's only one team that's truly happy. And there's teams that have, had successful years like Nebraska that have done some things that weren't, thought that it, could be done in prior years and maybe decades or whatever. And that's where Nebraska and this team and Jordy Fromm and everybody else have really, put this team up in a different, stratosphere. And so there's a lot of positive for both softball and baseball. And so, if I'm a younger player, if I'm a transfer coming in, I'm figuring out, what did they do well? We want to continue to do that. But also we got to figure out why weren't we able to match hit for hit, bat for bat, big time moment for big time moment?
Mm-hmm.
Did we put too much on her shoulders? Did we need another player or players be able to or have the personality to step up? That's what the offseason evaluation period is for. And, those are things that they have to go try to strategically answer.
And they're going to be, I have no doubt. I mean, look, you're obviously losing Jordy Fromm, the Kamens sisters, a couple seniors on that roster across the board, a couple transfers you brought in. Obviously, Hannah Core, she was a multi-time national champion at Oklahoma. You had Jessie Farrell, who, stepped up from the get-go, coming from UNLV, not a huge softball program in itself, comes in and filled the role as a catcher. That's hard to do, especially for them. But you also, Jordy is going to be gone, but you still have Alexis Jensen there, who was, just as good in the circle. I remember she was a freshman. Yeah. I remember sitting, the first game of the year watching them play in the Shriners Children's Open in Florida against Washington. And it's like, oh, Alexis Jensen's starting. She's a freshman from Gretna High coming down from the Omaha Metro. She grew up so much, not only as a person, but a player from day one all the way to the end of the season. And, that's huge. That's just a freshman season. She's got a couple more seasons under her belt. I can't imagine what she's going to be like in a couple of years for Nebraska in the circle.
Yeah, she's just got to keep it going on as the rest of the team does. And, look, it's part, very rarely do you just come out of nowhere and become a national champion. You got to start to get, it's like 92 and 93. You got to kind of keep knocking at the door, and then you got to make little small changes. You got to develop whatever you need to develop in order to become a champion. And everybody's got to have the right mindset. And so this is part of the growing process of Nebraska. You had a great player in Jordy Fromm. You're grateful for the 2 years that she was here.
Mm.
And, she had a storied career, probably the best performance by a transfer top to bottom. What I mean by that is expectations. The execution was there. She also grew the program. I think she probably made everybody else around her better, probably up the ante as far as, how you prep and all this other stuff, I'm assuming. And, from there on, it's done nothing positive. But as that chapter closed, right, and that chapter is officially closed because there's no more eligibility, now it's on to 2026-27. Because now as you watch these teams go through the process of chasing the prize that you showed up in Oklahoma City that you wanted, those are the things that you have to watch and see and not compare the easy comparison. What are they doing on a day-to-day basis, night in and night out, day in and day out to be still alive?
And the season just wraps up here. A really successful academic year for the Huskers across the board in their athletics. But we're going to take our second break of hour one of Old School, which is brought to you by Heartland Nebraska Windows, based out of Howland, Nebraska. Give them a call today as well. You can call them for more information across the board at 402-430-3852, based out of Howland, Nebraska, Heartland, Nebraska. When we get back, we'll do a little deep dive for the NBA Finals. That'll be starting up this Wednesday. Interesting teams a part of it. The New York Knicks and the San Antonio Spurs. More Old School coming up next. 93.7 The Ticket.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Graham Tire presents Life's Greatest Adventures.
Okay, buddy, here we go. Just keep your eye on the ball. All right, just swing right through it. Yeah, good job. Way to go. Hey, run it out. Okay.
Great road trips start with great service. Graham Tire, your tire store next door, with 5 convenient Lincoln locations, getting you to the places that matter most.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription, or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Another warm and muggy day here for our Monday. We'll get up to 89 for a high temperature, light northeast wind, and just the slightest chance for a pop-up thunder shower here this afternoon. Tonight, mostly cloudy, 64 for your overnight low. We'll get up to 82 on Tuesday and partly cloudy. I'm meteorologist Aaron Downiford, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Jordy Ball for Anderson Ford. For years, Anderson has relied on an exceptional customer experience. But just this once, they're going to rely on a really great pitch.
Right now, lease a 2026 Ford F-150 for $199 per month for 36 months.
Experience better at Anderson Ford.
Stock number 1008721. Previous service loaner. $199 per month. Lease for 36 months with approved credit. 7,500 miles per year. 10650 to assigning. No security deposit required. Tax, title, and license fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Program subject to change. Must take new retail delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 7/6/26.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models, from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Put lawn irrigation on automatic. Think Judson Irrigation for worry-free service to Lincoln homeowners and business community. Judson Irrigation will turn on your sprinkler system in the spring, repair or redesign as needed, and turn it off in the fall. For service to orphan sprinklers, remember Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage, 402-420-6277, or judsonirrigation.com.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions with pay starting at 23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offer great pay, health, dental, and vision, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Old School Hour 1 brought to you by Heartland Nebraska Windows at based out of Howell, Nebraska, 402-430-3852 to contact with them. 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Nick Wyman standing in for Austin Orman here on Old School alongside Jay Foreman. As always, we got them talking about Nebraska baseball, Nebraska softball in general, but we're going to move over to the hardwood. The NBA Finals is finally here, starting on June 3rd, this Wednesday. The San Antonio Spurs hosting the New York Knicks. Two teams, if you would have told me, would have been in the finals back when the season started in October, Jay. I could have seen the Knicks, maybe, depending on, because the East is what it is. But the Spurs, the jump they've had from year 2 to year 3 with Victor Wembanyama and that team, crazy for them to knock off the Thunder, a team that looked pretty unbeatable throughout the playoffs until they ran into San Antonio. Not only in the playoffs, but also in the regular season. The Spurs had their number. And now you get San Antonio, you get Victor Wembanyama and that crew back in the NBA Finals with that franchise, taking on the New York Knicks, who haven't been in there since 1999. I was 1 year old the last time the Knicks made the finals.
Yeah, I mean, the Knicks were, obviously had a lot of expectations on them last year, obviously. And, they fired the Coach Tibbs, and they brought in Mike Brown, and probably wasn't the sexy, hire. And obviously Mike Brown had been to NBA Finals, won championships with the Spurs and the Golden State Warriors. So, but just wasn't the type of coach you expect for the Knicks. And they struggled mightily during the season. During the season, it didn't look like they knew what to do with Mikal Bridges, who they gave up essentially the farm for.
Yes.
And, kind of sputtered around. And then, once they kind of found their rhythm in the playoffs, just destroyed everybody. Gave everybody the business. They were the can man. Everybody can get it. And now they are, or at least were, the hottest team in the NBA. Cat is playing out of this world. I mean, obviously he's a former Timberwolves player. I am a Timberwolves fan. I wasn't a Cat fan of him in the playoffs with the Timberwolves. They found a rhythm with him. Brunson and everybody else are playing their roles. And you probably didn't expect the Knicks to be in the finals because everybody thought the Celtics were going to be there for the simple fact Tatum had missed 3/4 of the season. Jaylen Brown had put them up at the number 1 seed. And then you also saw how the 76ers dismantled the Celtics, right? Not dismantled. They went to game 7.
Took them to 7, which a lot of people didn't have on their radar.
Didn't have on their radar. And then the Knicks said, oh, that's great. Well, you guys should have just went on vacation with the Celtics. We're just going to go ahead and sweep you right quick, right? And so, and then now you're looking down the barrel at the next potentially iconic player in NBA history in this era in Wemby, and a Spurs team that probably is ahead of schedule by a year, just by all people's practical, thought process and that. And so, it's going to come down to how Cat performs against Wemby, because Chet did not perform well, especially in game 7, and what they do with Brunson against this bigger, younger, longer San Antonio Spurs defensive team. And so I think it's a great matchup. I think Madison Square Garden will be something that the Spurs have never witnessed or experienced before. They are a young team. They have a young coach. New York fans are crazy. Knicks fans right now are diabolical.
Well, you see it when the Yankees are good, the Mets.
But the Knicks is different because it's been so long.
It's been forever.
It's been
like
forever.
I said, I was one.
They asked somebody, what would you give up for a Knicks championship? And he said, number one dude said, I'll give up my wife. Other dude said, I'll give up my kids.
I've seen this, and
right?
That's absolutely crazy to say.
But it's not even, and they weren't even inebriated. It's just
a normal person.
Just a conversation. Just have a conversation with him.
That's a wild thing to say.
Man, I mean, you know what would be a great experience? Just to go there. I mean, of course, going to the game. Just interviewing people outside of Madison Square Garden. You're talking about if you want to go viral, and just say they win a championship.
It's going to be.
You have to shut the whole city down.
Well, they painted the subway stairs there orange and blue. I saw that today.
You have to shut the whole city down.
It's going to be a party pretty much. I mean, they're the watch parties they've had. I remember like Toronto used to do theirs outside. I remember that
for the Maple Leafs
for them and stuff like that. Did it for the Raptors as well when Kawhi was there doing their thing. New York's just another animal. That's a beast in itself. And I find this so interesting because you have the Knicks, a team that's there. You have the Spurs, like you said, a year of schedule. And San Antonio, when they're good, their fan base is just as loud too. And they're such an interesting franchise going from, David Robinson era, the Tim Duncan era. They had a little bit of down years in there. It's a very different Spurs team that we've all kind of grown to know with Greg Popovich now not coaching there. No more Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Bruce Bowen, Tim Duncan, etc. Now you have this era of Victor Wembanyama, De'Aaron Fox and company. And I think Kings fans are probably the least satisfied with this because you have De'Aaron Fox as the point guard for the San Antonio Spurs. And then you have Mike Brown, who was let go by the Sacramento Kings over a year ago. And both of them are now coaching, or both of them are now respectively in this NBA Finals in itself. So Kings fans, I'm sorry to point that out to you. You probably see it.
Between Mike Malone and Mike Brown and all the players that have been through the Kings, and you could have drafted.
And Tyrese Halliburton even too. And he was in the finals last year.
And all the players they could have had and got rid of.
It's not good.
Not good.
It's not good. I do know
it's the farm system for success. As long as you have somewhat success with the Sacramento Kings, they're going to fire you the next year, and you're going to go be a world champion.
That's what I mean. So if you're like Luke Walton, he was the coach for a bit. Yeah. Is he gonna come back into coaching and land somewhere?
Where is he?
I don't think he's coaching. I don't think he might be on an assistant somewhere. But I know Luke Walton was because he got let go by the Lakers, which for obvious reasons it didn't work out well and everything. And then he ends up going there. Now you have him there. He's with the Pistons right now. Isn't it? Yeah, Luke Walton is a Pistons assistant coach there right now. So
he's having success.
He did. They were the number one seed over one of the best seasons the Pistons have had.
And that's the team in you would think that the Pistons would have been in the finals before the Knicks.
Yeah,
a young team that was the most consistent team in the whole NBA. I felt like
they had a good.
They were the regular season
good at home too.
Regular season champs.
That's crazy how it goes.
Postseason chumps.
Yeah, and then they lose right away. Somebody said, dying to know if there's any Kings fans listening. There's probably one out there.
Isn't Baca a Kings fan?
I don't think so.
He's an Arizona Cardinals
I know
fan.
It's kind of the equivalent of the same thing.
So you know he's a Kings fan.
It's kind of
without a doubt. Matter of fact, we're anointing him the Kings fan because you like the Cardinals. They're the same organization.
They kind of are.
No, it's not kind of. They are.
Have a generational player, doesn't really do anything.
Just start naming them.
I mean, like who's the Larry Fitzgerald of the Sacramento Kings? Would that be?
He's not done playing. I mean,
was that like a Sabonis? Was that like a Sabonis? Because Sabonis is a really good player.
Yeah, but he's there. So yeah, it'd be him.
I'm trying because they've gotten rid of so many good all-star, and then they don't draft well. Like you mentioned, they draft a guy like they drafted Marvin Bagley III in like the second overall pick.
And who could they have had?
They could have had Luka. Luka had Luka,
yeah.
And it could have had something there.
So yeah, I mean I'd say Sabonis is that right now. He's your Larry Fitzgerald, but they've had great players. They had Mitch Richmond back in the day. That might be before your time.
I know who that is. The NBA 2K in me gets me caught up.
Look, I mean, just think about this. Darian Fox was there putting up major numbers. No, we don't need you anymore. Go to the Spurs. Just chill for a little bit.
Box is Celtics fan, so a little bit different.
Oh, he texted in?
No, that was Denny Moville. I know he's a Celtics fan, though, because he was talking about it. And Chris Webber, Matt Hopp chimed in, too.
Yeah, but Chris Webber, Vlade Divac is the one up there working all the whole time. They had Peja Stojakovic.
Yep. His kid's now playing college ball. It's crazy. Hour 1 of Old School brought to you by Heartland Nebraska Windows. Hour 2 starting here soon. We're going to talk a little bit of Trey Taylor. He was in the news.
Where are you, Trey Taylor?
Trey Taylor,
you were supposed to come in. I know you went to Elite 11. I know you got MVP. Look, player, that's over with. Yep. Where are you? You're 2 months behind.
the new week.
You've been on everybody else's show. You said you coming in, and I'm gonna mention your name until you come on here, and you got to get in. We're gonna put you in the pressure chamber, Trey Taylor.
Well, we'll talk a lot about you. Hear his name a lot here in the next hour. Old School continues. Nick Wyman, Jay Foreman, 92.7 The Tip.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Planet Fitness, we know how important it is to take care of both your mind and body. That's why now through May 15th, all new members get free massage amenities all month long, so you can reset, recover, and leave feeling stronger than when you came in. Join the club for just $1 down, $15 a month, and get free massage amenities for the month of May. No commitment. Deal ends May 15th. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet. See club for details.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Hey everyone, it's Bree Marie. Join me and James Rowland every Sunday night at 7 p.m. from April through August for the finish line. We'll do laps around the headlines in dirt track racing, let the rubber meet the road for NASCAR news, and talk with special guests, including your favorite local drivers and racing personalities. That's the finish line, Sunday at 7 p.m. all summer long on 93.7 The Ticket.
Nominations for the Step Forward Awards are now open. These awards are the state's most prestigious awards for volunteerism, and we need your help to find outstanding volunteers from your region of the state. If you know a volunteer who deserves to be honored for their service, visit serve.nebraska.gov and click Nominate Now. Nominations must be submitted by June 1st. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription, or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mixed Concrete in Lincoln and Palmyra. Ready Mixed offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they cover the cost of CDL training. Apply with Ready Mixed Concrete today to be eligible for a $2,500 hiring bonus. From Nebco's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today with Ready Mixed Concrete. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Graham Tire presents life's greatest adventures.
Okay, buddy, here we go. Just keep your eye on the ball. All right, just swing right through it. Yeah, good job. Way to go. Hey, run it out. Okay.
Great road trips start with great service. Graham Tire, your tire store next door, with 5 convenient Lincoln locations, getting you to the places that matter most.
When something breaks, you want someone you can trust to fix it right. Empire Repair is now open in Waverly and ready to serve our community with reliable auto repair and maintenance. From routine service to bigger repairs, our team is here to keep you on the road. Stop by Empire Repair in Waverly or call 402-786-2224 to schedule your service today. Empire Repair, proud to serve Waverly.
I am Harrison Arns, producer of Ticket Weeknights and Weekends right here at 93.7 The Ticket. My favorite things to do in downtown Lincoln are checking out all the local sports events, whether it's basketball, football, volleyball, or even Lincoln Stars hockey. I enjoy it all because I get to experience one of the best sports communities in the country.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
Hi, Sean Callahan here. Recouple Chevrolet, GMC, and Chevrolet, and GMC Truck Month is here. Absolutely huge discounts and 2.9% for 72 months. I also just wanted to share a little bit more about the Koppel family. They've been serving the Omaha and Lincoln and surrounding communities for over 50 years with great customer service and small town charm. That's always been our motto, and we absolutely will not be undersold. It truly is confident buying and confident driving. So come on in, meet the team. Check us out at Koppel or at koppelcars.com. All deals with approved credit.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln. This is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Troy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score! Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black shirts answer the call one more time.
And Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln. Your tire store next door with 4 Lincoln locations. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Hour 2 of Old School here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Nick Wyman filling in for Austin Norman as he is out today. Jay Foreman, though, is here as Old School. Half of Old School is here as always. But Graham Tire Company is celebrating 75 years of service in the Midwest. They're more than just tires. They do all kinds of car and light truck repairs, too. From brakes to oil changes, trust Graham Tire and service you can count on. Graham Tire, getting you to the places that matter most. As sponsor for Hour 2 of Old School, Graham Tire, thank you to them, as always. But show rolls on. Hour 2, Nick Wyman, Jay Foreman, Old School. If you want to be a part of the conversation, we're going to talk a lot of Trey Taylor here for the next hour. Obviously, he was down in California making some noise. Rivals MVP of the Elite 11 finals out there in Los Angeles. A strong performance. We're going to talk a lot about the future Husker quarterback. 402-464-5685. Sorry, Raymond Jewelers text line, or if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Allo Channel 961, the Ticket app, or over the dial as usual. Jay, it's a loaded Husker weekend with baseball and softball. We got into that a lot in the first hour, but Trey Taylor, he's a name that's been kind of thrown around a lot with Husker football. We're not even into the 2026 season with what that's going to be, but Trey Taylor made some noise when he obviously transfers in from Illinois to Millard South up in the Omaha Metro. Now he goes here to a loaded, Elite 11 camp, and it makes some noise, not only just for Nebraska faithful, but also just nationally as well.
Yeah, for him, I mean, I think he's was a sending player when Nebraska identified him, probably well over a year and a half ago. And, he has a ton of talent. And look, when you look at high school, it's generally, if you're a quarterback, high school should be pretty easy for you. If you're struggling in high school, you're never going to be good. Or not, shouldn't say never, but you're not. You're a fake, 4 or 5 star. He's been able to be very productive at his high school, and then going around and having a national schedule 7-on-7 and playing some big tournaments in front of some, big media people has put him up in the position that he's at. I think he's gotten bigger over the last year. His body's changed. He's starting to mature, which is so naturally is going to happen, but he's worked at it, and he's very focused on trying to be the best player that he can be. And then obviously when you go out there to Elite 11 and put your skills on display and you win the MVP, it doesn't mean everything, but it does mean something. And it is something that you can look at and kind of evaluate and see where he compares to some, guys in his class. Like right now, I would say, he's the best in the nation, but there's guys, about 4 or 5 guys on his heels. And so this is a huge year for him. He's going to be playing high school here locally, and then obviously transition into Nebraska in January. And then we'll see where, it all, shakes out as far as when he gets on the field at Nebraska. I mean, this is a big step for him that he completed, a big opportunity. He performed on the big stage. Now, granted, everybody will tell you that, look, 7-on-7, there is no defensive line. It's an offensive type of, I guess games or whatever. But, look, you gotta throw the football. You got to read coverages. You got to throw people open. You got to fit balls in there to tight areas. without a doubt, he's got a strong arm. There ain't no doubt about it. He's probably got, and he's worked on his footwork to get a little bit quicker and stuff like that. So you got to, tip your hat to him. And sure, he's on social media a lot and around town. Heck, we used to see him at times over here at the Hampton Inn. I'm sure he's in his place now because he's into,
Yes.
Miller South after, a big weekend out there in California. And so he's been in and around the program. He's been kind of a recruiter for the program, on social media and in person and stuff like that. And so, they were able to go clip him from Illinois, and, here he is, and he's trying to, really establish himself nationally. And then, from there, he starts back at zero, and it's got to be a challenge. When he gets to college, he's got to, obviously welcome the challenge and go from there. The great thing about it is it's not only Trey Taylor, but it's Braylon Warren, who's kind of been under the radar. I'll be honest, like local media guys have kind of, downplayed his skills. It took Tom Luganbill really to put him on a national level. He's been this good for years since he's been a freshman. Like Trey Taylor, still has a lot of growing to do. I know Braylon personally. I know Steve, played with Steve, but I know the work that he's put in and how much he's developed. And so for this state of Nebraska, you got two of the top probably 5 quarterbacks in the nation in this class right here in your state. Now, obviously one's, kind of moved in, but at the end of the day, he's going to Nebraska. So, it's a big deal for, the state of Nebraska, but let alone Trey Taylor.
So 24/7 Sports put out an article kind of covering, Spark Notes kind of about this from the article that was written by 24/7. So it says, Trey Taylor made coverage-beating throws the other Signet callers simply couldn't make each day. His rapid motion produced NFL-like velocity, and he was able to consistently fit the football into tight windows. I mean, it's 7-on-7 at the end of the day, because 7-on-7, you don't have the pads on and everything, but there's still room to grow. You're a high schooler.
Yeah.
Like I don't like the comparison between NFL talent in high school. There's still room to grow.
That's where a lot of, and this has nothing to do with Trey Taylor. This is where they are completely wrong when you report. Stop doing that, please.
You're putting
unnecessary pressure on a young man when you say that he NFL. Listen,
you saw it with Arch Manning.
It's not even close right now.
You saw it with Arch Manning.
First of all, like, it's disrespectful.
100%.
It's disrespectful. It's disrespectful for the guys that are playing, right, and the guys that have played. And this has nothing to do with Trey Taylor.
Just in general.
And in one thing about the Elite 11, I know a couple coaches out there, so I've talked to them. The coaches, the process is a little bit different because there's a lot of standing around, and it's kind of like a luck of the draw who you get to throw to. But Trey Taylor is obviously, they said, they told me, like, he's not, he's the best one. The Houston kid's good, Braylon Warren's good, the Bork kid's good, Israel's good. But they're all right on his heels, and they all have a legit argument as being that guy. But ultimately, as we've seen over the test of time, you got a smaller kid like Rakowski and the Vanderbilt kid. They're a little bit smaller, but what they do is they could be looked at as better college quarterbacks because, like Diego Pava, like he's 5'9", he's not an NFL quarterback. Like, fortunately for Trey, he has he's a big enough quarterback, tall wise. He needs to get bigger physically. That will come over time. And he's got a good arm, and he has the ability to fit him in the tight windows. Now, doing that with pads on, with the pass rush, and all that type of stuff, that's a whole different thing. But he can only do what he can do. He can, it's like a team. It's like Nebraska baseball. You up there say that, okay, you're in the Big Ten. Well, they only can play who's on their schedule. He only can do what he's doing right now. And, and so it's successful, and it's great that he was able to do that. And it's something that he should be honored, because there's some really good players that went out there. There's a lot of guys that aren't even Elite 11 that end up going to the NFL and being very successful. And there's guys that go to the Elite 11 that end up being successful as well. And so it's part of being a competitor, probably, wanting to be set out and be the best. Well, then that's what he went there and is evaluated, and he's the best right now.
And you've had like several names in like the past go to this Elite 11 camp and everything like that, whether you're going there. The Manning Passing Academy is another thing, another level to it as well. And Alpha Dogs MVP was Trey Taylor day one. Israel Adams, he's the Miami commit in the 2027 class. Per 24/7, Trey Taylor's third on that list. Elijah Haven, number one. He's the Alabama commit. Then Israel Abrams above him. But at the end of the day, it's just a list. I mean, Gunnar Rivers is number 4 behind there. And we obviously know him because of his dad and he going to NC State and where Phillip Rivers used to play his college ball. But at the end of the day, it's just a ranking right now. You still have to go out there and prove it. Senior year is huge. He's going to be out there just down the road, literally in Omaha Metro. I would say down the road. It's about a 45-minute drive down there, the Millard, give or take, depending on that Omaha traffic. You never know going down there if you've ever been through that I-80 traffic in that area. But you have him going down there. You have him at this Elite 11 showing up, and that's people are hopeful for him and what he's able to do because he's going to be in the backyard. He's been very vocal, like you said, on social media, which is fine. That's just how he is and how he's built. But he's also been very vocal with this recruiting class as a whole, the 2027 recruiting class, just in general.
Yeah, I mean, he gives it the uptick, and obviously the higher he's ranked, it makes the recruiting class look better. They just I think they got 3 offensive line commits within the last week. It's recruiting season now. They got off-season workouts. I'm sure he's in a lot of in contact with the coaches right now, but trying to focus on his high school. Finishing out his high school career. And so, look, man, everybody's hopeful. But he's, again, like I said with Dylan, you are a piece of the puzzle. You are not the puzzle. You would never be the puzzle. Tom Brady wasn't the puzzle. Joe Montana wasn't the puzzle. Peyton Manning wasn't the puzzle. Tommy Frazier wasn't the puzzle. You are, whether you say you want a big piece of the puzzle or a piece of the puzzle, that's where you are, and you have to be the best that you can be. It's great that Trey Taylor is coming here because I think it's great for the program and it kind of gives you a little bit of higher profile. But then everybody that comes in, including Trey, has to perform at the level that they're expected at. And really, to be honest with you, in the bigger games, higher. That's the only way this works out. And then also, he's got to be here 3 or 4 years.
So the Elite 11.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, who cares? Like Justin Fields was at Georgia. Well, he went to Ohio State, went first round. And they decided on Fromm. I'm sure they probably like to change that decision.
Yep.
Jalen Hurts was at Alabama with Tua. I'm sure that you see the way Jalen Hurts was able to, right? This is the perfect example. Tua went up there to Elite 11.
Yep.
Jalen Hurts, I don't think did. But when you saw them at Alabama, you would have thought there's no way that Tua wasn't going to be that guy. Well, Jalen Hurts went in the lab and came out a different version of himself. And so that's where, where Trey Taylor's just got to continue to work and continue to get better.
And the Elite 11 has been going on since 1999. There's names. So you go back to the beginning of the Matt Castle was a part of the first Elite 11. Obviously played in college in the NFL.
He did not play. That's the thing. That's crazy.
And then you even go down. Let's go to 2005. There's a mixed bag of names there. We're just diving into the names who have been here. There's names that obviously I see right now and they really jump off the board, Jay. And there's some names I sit here and go,
let me see.
Who are you? So 2005. There's 3 names that really stand out. You have Matthew Stafford.
Yep.
For obvious reasons, what he's doing, reigning MVP. Tim Tebow, regardless of how the NFL career went, a college football legacy icon. And then you have guys like Jake Locker. Jake Locker was huge out of Washington, I remember.
Supposed to be.
He's supposed to
be better than Cam Newton.
And then
what happened?
Gets hurt. And NFL career is very short. I remember he played in the NFL. He played in the NFL 3 or 4 years with the Titans. Yeah. That was when Matt Hasselbeck was there in his veteran.
And they ran him off.
That's a very, there's so many different names. Let's continue down the list here. If there's any other names that really, Ryan Mallett, he was one of them. Tyrod Taylor, that was the 2006 Elite 11. Some names, Blaine Gabbert, Mike Glennon. There's some guys who have Andrew Luck, EJ Manuel, some guys who end up making a career out there. And you have guys like, Sean Renifee from Duke. I don't know who Sean Renifee is. He played in the NFL for a bit. I think he was at the Falcons as a third-string quarterback. You
got a better memory than me.
Somehow. Taj Boyd, 2008 one. He was Garrett Gilbert. AJ McCarron, Zach Mettenberger.
So then what you need to do is look at all the guys that didn't go to Elite 11 and where they're at.
And that's, this is
and that also lets you know that Elite 11 isn't the end all be all. It's the starting point and what you do with it or what you don't do with it at that point.
And you even had like Jet Smala. He was that in 2025 before he went to Alabama. The former Millard South quarterback for him. He was there last year. Now he's going to be in a stomping ground. He's going to be a backup role there more than likely with Austin Mack and Keon Russell battling for that quarterback competition there. But who knows where that goes? And some of these other names down the list. You even go back to some guys like Tavian St. Clair, Ohio State. He was an Elite 11 quarterback. He was backing up last year.
Yeah, and he's
for the
waiting
Buckeyes.
another year. But he's cold-blooded too.
So these are good players. TJ Lateef to 2024. He was there too. We saw bits and pieces of his freshman year. Obviously got thrown into the fire in a blackout game against USC after Dylan Raiola goes down. He was there. I mean, even look down. Deuce Knight. He was at Auburn. Some names. You don't know who Deuce Knight is?
No.
Malik Washington, Maryland cornerback.
Yeah, but you see, he's cold-blooded.
Exactly.
Right, but you don't hear much about it. You see, the thing about these rankings, and this is not necessarily have to do with Trey Taylor, a lot of it's based on like where you're from, right? And like what high school you go to, what media personality is pushing you, because it's easy, right? You go to Matter Day, and this is supposed to be the next guy that you hear about the legacy of X, Y, and Z. I'm sure Bryce Young went to it, so forth and so on.
We can dive into that next
But
segment.
then you got guys that are that aren't there invited that are just straight up stone cold killers.
So I'm looking like Sam Darnold never was invited. He was a good college course.
Right.
He won a Super Bowl.
But his high school career, he's a nuts and bolts guy, a real low key profile type of guy. Now he's a franchise quarterback.
And like Jalen Hurts, you mentioned him too. I mean, Josh Allen probably, Josh Allen wasn't there
There's
either.
no way Josh Allen was going.
That's what I mean.
I mean, so again, it's not all created equal, and that's just part of this journey of. But then there's guys that, like you said, Matthew Stafford, that are, I would say, can't miss. He comes out, I think Lake Travis in Dallas or whatever.
Yep.
And he's thought of like as a can't miss product. He goes there, he does well. He goes to Georgia, he gets picked number 1. He's very effective, even when he's at a losing organization like Detroit. And then he goes to the Rams, the LA Rams, went to Super Bowl, and now he's an MVP and was at later in his career. So that's how it could be. But you have to look at all the things that went into that.
Everybody's got a story too, like you said, a different background. You may be a 1-star, you may be a 5-star. That star doesn't define you at the end of the day.
No.
And if you go to Elite 11 or whatever, named to the Manning passing academy list, at the end of the day, you still got to play college football. Look at Fernando Mendoza. There's no way he was here.
Yeah.
And he ends up at Cal. You mentioned the transfers. Guys end up at different places. We'll dive into some more of those names. Just 'cause I'm curious. I saw a couple of names scrolling through real quick. Sean Menifee, yes, he played at Duke. He had a practice squad pickup by the Falcons. So
well, you have to look at let's look at this right now.
Okay.
And real quick, and we'll dive into this second. So like as you go through, you see this a lot in basketball, right? So you just look at the state of Illinois. You have Abrams, Trey Taylor, and Narod. In the state of Illinois.
Just one state.
In just one state. So some people had Trey Taylor as a 3rd-ranked guy. Is that because he didn't go to Illinois? Now, if he went to Illinois, would he be as ranked high would he be higher initially versus when he came to Nebraska? Would that mean that, just because he stayed at Illinois and he's not going to a passing school, I guess Nebraska's not yet. And then, all that type of stuff goes into it. And so when you really dive into it, it's a great start. It's a good honor for Trey. And then he's got to kind of like put that, it's kind of one of those things like when he gets older and has kids, and you say, look, I went to Elite 11. I will tell you this, though. The great thing about it, because you have to work for these type of rankings. If you have to really kind of, put yourself out there, pimp yourself out. But it gives you more opportunity, though, because these recruiters and coaches, I wouldn't say they're lazy, but it's easy to say, oh, well, Nick Wyman went to the Elite 11, and he was like the number, like maybe not Trey Taylor, like the number 4th ranked guy there, and this is what they thought about him then, and say it's 2 years down the road. Oh, well, then you're guaranteed to come in. Here's an NIL check. Here's Jay Foreman over there, and that might have been like Josh Allen, from Minnesota or whatever. Because I'm
zero-star commit, no opportunity.
Because I'm just going to be honest with you. All right. The commit that the Minnesota Gophers got, that quarterback, he's straight up cold-blooded. Does not do any of this. They play 7-on-7 in the state of Minnesota. Okay. He's 6'4", 220 pounds, 4'5" legit, and has a straight hose for an arm.
And that's all he's got to be. He's just asked to, handle the ball.
But he's going to Minnesota.
And they're a primarily run the football, the hard-nosed football kind of style.
And he doesn't leave the state borders to do all that type of stuff.
Just has to be a Minnesota Golden Gophers quarterback. I mean, look at Tanner Morgan.
Right.
I guarantee you Tanner
Morgan. But he's
Morgan.
not on a national level 7-on-7. They play 7-on-7. They get enough reps right there and do it, and he committed early. That's how you get guys that come out of nowhere.
Even like Ethan Kalmanakis when he was there, before he went to Rutgers. He was just asked to, run the play action.
And they will tell you that they dropped the ball by not opening up the playbook for him.
He had the
PJ Fleck will tell you that.
He had the intangibles. He had it all.
But they will tell you they didn't maximize that with him. And now they got a freshman that we saw that's pretty dang good.
Drake Lindsay.
Needs to get a little bit more fleet of foot. Needs to get on the jump rope a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because his dead leg isn't dead, you know. And then you got TJ Lateef, you know, can throw the ball, comes from a really good high school as far as passing the ball, but he got a serious dead leg. Because we're going to start Dead Leg University on YouTube and TikTok. You know what that is?
I have no idea what that is.
You don't know what the dead leg is?
Dead leg? We'll have to demonstrate.
No, you cannot Google it.
Do not Google.
Don't ever do that again. Nick Wyman, don't ever do that again. Hey, all the answers are not on Google.
That's just what we're taught in this day and age, is to Google something. But
you're going to Chat GPT to dead leg. Go on a break, man.
Can I do it on my phone?
No. Stop. In the name of love, do not do that ever again.
All right. We're going to go to break. We'll look at the Elite 11 list on the other side. Jay Foreman, Nick Wyman, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. 93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Another warm and muggy day here for our Monday. We'll get up to 89 for a high temperature, light northeast wind, and just the slightest chance for a pop-up thunder shower here this afternoon. Tonight, mostly cloudy, 64 for your overnight low. We'll get up to 82 on Tuesday and partly cloudy. I'm meteorologist Aaron Downiford, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Nominations for the Step Forward Awards are now open. These awards are the state's most prestigious awards for volunteerism, and we need your help to find outstanding volunteers from your region of the state. If you know a volunteer who deserves to be honored for their service, visit serve.nebraska.gov and click Nominate Now. Nominations must be submitted by June 1st. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
When something breaks, you want someone you can trust to fix it right. Empire Repair is now open in Waverly and ready to serve our community with reliable auto repair and maintenance. From routine service to bigger repairs, our team is here to keep you on the road. Stop by Empire Repair in Waverly or call 402-786-2224 to schedule your service today. Empire Repair, proud to serve Waverly.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at WindowWorldLincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
At Planet Fitness, we know how important it is to take care of both your mind and body. That's why now through May 15th, all new members get free massage amenities all month long, so you can reset, recover, and leave feeling stronger than when you came in. Join the club for just $1 down, $15 a month, and get free massage amenities for the month of May. No commitment. Deal ends May 15th. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet. See club for details.
93.7 The Ticket is Lincoln's home for Kansas City Royals baseball in 2026. Catch all the action as Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and a pitching rotation led by Cole Reagans try to lead the Royals back to the postseason. That's Kansas City Royals baseball all summer long. On the air in Lincoln at 93.7 The Ticket.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
What if your bank had people who care about the places we call home?
That's what Union Bank does. We encourage this culture of giving back.
I really enjoy working with People City Mission,
the United Way campaign,
Habitat for Humanity, Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Everyone's in to help make that community stronger. To be part of all of this that's going on is pretty remarkable.
At UBT, your money has people with a passion for serving. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket.
Welcome back. Old School, Nick Wyman holding it down here alongside Jay Foreman, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. My man Eric in the chat. Nick is still a child, of course. Yes, I am, allegedly, to say the least. But show rolls on. We were diving into the Elite 11. We talked about Trey Taylor, winning MVP of one of the days there, co-alpha dog of the weekend there out in California, and what that means. The Elite 11 has been around since 1999, and we went down the rabbit hole of quarterbacks who have been at this camp, whether you were, an NFL caliber quarterback or whether you only played college football. There's a long list of names. Matt Castle was a part of the first class in the Elite 11 of the summer of 1999. Well, we're going to look back in the 2010s and into present day, because there are some names across the board, because you hear Elite 11, it's a, really huge thing. And maybe you're that guy, and maybe you're going to change your college football program. Maybe you're going to go play in the NFL one day, but sometimes that's not always the answer. Everybody's got a story. And as we talked about in the first segment, Jay's mentioned, some guys don't have this opportunity, whether you're Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, etc. Guys who end up playing in the NFL.
And Trey's got a tremendous opportunity because, I think for him, he gets to come in after Dylan was here, who was a 5-star. Nebraska gets to learn, ideally, from the pros and cons of having a high-profile player, what they did well, what they didn't do well, what, a young man will go through, pros and cons, and how that, maybe to teach him better how to handle it. You know what I'm saying? And then also, you got to do a really good job of getting guys around them that are going to be productive. And whether that's still fostering those guys on your roster or, going to the portal to make sure he's successful, because the more that he's successful and success, and here's what I mean by that. It's not all about Trey, but in order to win at the magnitude that you want, your quarterback has to be a dude within your system.
And here 2011 is a really good example. You had guys like Jameis Winston, what he was able to do at Florida State, and obviously make.
Did he go Elite 11?
He went to Elite 11 in that year. But you also had guys like Tanner Magnum. Tanner Magnum, he's famous for the Hail Mary in Mike Riley's first game. He was the BYU quarterback who came off the bench for Taysom Hill. He was also Bart Houston. He was at Wisconsin.
I never heard of it.
You never heard of them?
I've seen it.
Yes,
I saw it when it happened,
yes,
but I
Tanner-
never knew that he was that good to go with this. First,
he
why
wa-
would you
yeah,
go to BYU?
Yeah. So then Austin Appleby, he was at Florida, and then he was at Purdue. He's the Purdue quarterback at that time.
Mhm.
So interesting class where you have guys who go to
Traditional
college football schools, but then you have, and Chad Kelly was there. Swag Kelly was huge.
Ole Miss.
Those are, the perennial guys out of that class, but there's also some guys like that. 2012 is an interesting one. You had Jared Goff there for obvious reasons. He was huge coming out of college at Cal. You had Josh Dobbs, who is obviously another guy. He was good too. Then you have the names like Christian Hackenberg, a guy who I remember when he went to Penn State, he was supposed to be the real deal and the big guy. And then the Jets take him and ends up doing whatever. In this same class, you had Max Brown, USC and Pitt, ends up, nothing. He was a very high caliber quarterback during his time. He started that game against Alabama at the beginning of the year with USC, and that didn't go well. Luke Del Rio, he was an Alabama quarterback who never really saw the field too. He was at this one as well. There's so many different names down the list. That was 2013. David Blau, 2013 in there. Will Greer, Brad Kaya, Deshaun Watson. So one of those names obviously stands out from the rest.
Yeah,
So-
but Deshaun Watson, up until he lost his focus, was the real deal. There was talk, even when he was playing, because he was doing more with less, that he was better than Patrick Mahomes. And then you got to think Brad Kaya was cold-blooded
In Miami.
until he got hurt.
That was when the U was nearly back, I remember.
They were on a little bit of a downturn. It was kind of like reminiscent of Trey coming to Nebraska. And whereas like you were kind of like 6-7 wins at Miami, you get Brad Kaya looking for an uptick. And then, now look at him right now. Now, it wasn't kind of directly, related to that, but also you can learn from situations like that.
Yep.
What did Miami not do to get the best out of that situation with Brad Kaya?
They just didn't put a lot of guys around him. It was just, hey, here's our quarterback. See what you got. They didn't really have a great defense like, Miami's used to, like we saw this past year or even prior years in the 2000s.
Right. So everything is data. It's just not, you can't just focus. Okay, we got Trey Taylor, and they're recruiting. You got Tate Ellis that's going to be up there at Millard South as well.
Pittman's at Millard North.
So you
He's
got
in the same
athletes
class.
coming in around him. So, but I'm saying when you bring in players, especially the quarterback, there's a lot of pressure. You got to evaluate all the data.
2014, you had guys like DeAndre Francois. He was a Florida State guy. I remember him there as well.
He was
rookie of the year in the ACC during his freshman season.
And what happened to him? Did he get hurt?
He ended up getting hurt and then ended up leaving because then that's when Florida State, mass fired him. This is after the Jameis Winston era. Things go downhill. Jimbo Fisher ends up leaving.
And you know what it was? It was that Alabama game in the kickoff classic game.
They got blown out.
And he got rocked.
And he ends up going to Hampton, ends up playing a little bit of football, indoor football league football. He ended up playing there, which, to each your own. Drew Lock, he was a big name in this as well. Kyler Murray. This was
so he was productive, and he won the Heisman, right?
Yep.
And then he was number one pick.
But in that same one, you had Jarrett Stidham, obvious reasons, played in the AFC Championship game this last year for the Denver Broncos. And then Josh Rosen was also in it as well. And Josh Rosen.
Listen about Josh. Listen, he went to Jake Bakovin's card.
Okay. Jake somehow comes up again.
Josh Rosen at times showed the knack for the comebacks.
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell you something, okay? Josh Rosen is a tennis player. He grew up playing tennis. He has no dog in him. Now, I will tell you this about Josh Rosen. I think he got a raw deal at the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
The way they treated him when he was drafted, the way they didn't even, after you draft him number 10, you automatically had your eye set on Kyler Murray, and you just kind of just threw him out.
Less than a year later.
He was with the Dolphins.
Less than a year later, they basically said, all right, we're taking you in, and we're spitting you back out the other side. 2015. You had guys like Jacob Eason. He was a Georgia guy as well.
Georgia was getting top, guys for like how many years in a row?
And he was one of them. Ends up at Washington, cup of coffee in the NFL, the Colts and the Seahawks. Felipe Franks was there. He was a Florida and Arkansas quarterback. Now he's a tight end in the NFL. He's kind of like Blake Bell, as we talked off air. Shane Buechele, he was a longtime Texas SMU quarterback. Dwayne Haskins was there, another Ohio State quarterback in his own right.
Yeah, unfortunately passed away.
Yep. Shea Patterson was there. Ole Miss there. A bunch
Michigan,
of different
too.
Michigan, yeah, he was there too and played exceptional at both of them. You go into 2016, you had Sean Clifford, Tommy DeVito, Sam Ellinger, Jake Fromm, Tate Martell. That's a very good example here, where a guy where I remember when he went to Ohio State, it was Tate Martell is going to be that guy.
When I said it's not all about, but you get these type of rankings based on where you go to school. He went to Bishop Gorman.
Yep.
You're on a national stage. So if you play at Bishop Gorman, you are put in another stratosphere. Look, The kid was 5 foot nothing. All right. His arm is like a wet noodle. And he was fast. So
5'11", 210.
And listen, he ain't 5'11". He wasn't 5'11". But he was fast and he showed the ability to win. But when you're going, you know what's funny about Tate Martell? I don't know if it was on social media or whatever. They just kind of replayed, when he was on that show. And I remember his coach getting mad at him, and he had a little bit of attitude problem. My man went 9 for 21 in high school. You're at Bishop Gorman. That's like a prep school.
And
how do you go 9 for 21 and think you're going to go to Ohio State with Dwayne Haskins there and Joe Burrow and think you're going to bust a grape?
And he's also like Bishop Gorman. You mentioned them. I always remember seeing even to this day, they're on those Friday night ESPN games.
Kickoff
games. They're on either week one, either throughout the entire year. They're featured in some shape or form. He ends up going to Ohio State, goes to Miami, doesn't really see the field there as well.
Comes back to UNLV.
UNLV.
Now he's dealing cards at the blackjack table.
Dylan McCaffrey was at the same one as him, and then Tua Tagovailoa. Those are all the guys in the 2016 class.
So really, it was just Tua, and everybody else was hot garbage.
Pretty much. 2017, you had Matt Corral, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, Tanner McKee, who is now at the Eagles. He was at Stanford bit. Tyler Shuck, DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Names in here. So
in the UFL.
Yep, UFL. And same with Matt Corral. Matt Corral also there as well. And then you have, obviously, the Justin Fields of the world and the Trevor Lawrences, which at the time, those two were kind of the guys in that class. You keep going down. Tyler Shuck, an NFL guy. He's kind of one of the, that level of guys. I remember DTR in college and Matt Corral, what they are. DTR was kind of on that lower totem pole. And, it's interesting.
Chip Kelly loves him, and he went to Cleveland and did well for a year. Then they kind of, look, Cleveland you. But, one of the things I think we need to do on Wednesday is we're diving into the Elite 11 guys.
There's a lot of them.
Okay.
There's a lot of them.
Listen, the hit rate is very, very minimal. I'm going to tell you this right now. The quarterback play throughout the whole wide world. So that means the United States of America, Canada, Mexico, Germany, Europe, Africa is horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because you don't have enough legit coaches teaching them how to play the position of quarterback. That's why the miss rate is so high.
Mm.
It's not a talent thing. It's a miss rate because you're not teaching them how to play the position. Mentally, you aren't having them ready for competition.
Mm. 2018, Zach Calzada. He was at A&M, Auburn, Incarnate Word, and Kentucky. You had Jaden Daniels, Max
Are you just
Duggan.
on Google with these dudes?
Yeah,
I was about to say, because if you got this stuff off of here, I'm about to put you on the internet. You're the football encyclopedia.
Jay, I am a sicko. I'm a sports sicko, but I'm not that big of a sicko.
Yeah.
No, I have the list of names from each year pulled up here. I'm not. Did you think I was really listing these names off the top of my head the entire time?
The dude that you just mentioned, and you were like, yeah, him. I was like, nah.
I do remember.
I know football. I don't know that dude.
You had Zach Calzada, Jaden Daniels, Max Duggan, Grant Gunnell. He played at 4 different
Max Duggan. Yeah, I remember TCU.
He's a CFL last year with the Toronto Argonauts. Sam Howell. He was huge coming out of high school as well. Cade McNamara, Graham Mertz, Bo Nix, Spencer Rattler. That was the 2018. 2019, DJ Uungle. He was supposed to go to this, but he had prior commitments to his high school team, St. John Bosco High School. So that instead, they took CJ Stroud. So
there it is.
That's
slew-footed slanger.
That's an interesting list there. The 2019 one, we'll hear a lot of these names. Hudson Card was at Texas and Purdue. Carson Beck, Jacoby Criswell played a ton of different. TJ Finley, the guy who's played for 6 different college football programs during his time. Haynes King, Chandler Morris, Jeff Sims was there as well. And
see, now Elite 11.
Jeff Sims,
and
then
you done lost me. Elite 11. I'm just letting you know right now. Where the camera at? Is that the camera?
Camera's right here.
Yeah, Elite 11 right now. You just lost some credibility. I'm just telling you. With Jeff Sims?
He was there. He was in the same one with CJ Stroud and Bryce Young.
Now, there's one person that don't fit in.
It's like putting a ton of apples together and there's an orange in there.
Yeah.
You're trying to convince me they're all apples.
Exactly. There's banana over there.
2020, we'll continue a couple more. We'll do a couple more, and then we'll go on that. Garrett Nussmeier, Miller Moss, Kyle McCord, J.J. McCarthy, just a ton of different names. Caleb Williams was there. Then you go into 2021. We'll do this one, then we'll take a break. These are names that we're seeing now getting drafted, guys still playing college football. You had Drew Aller, Cade Klubnik, Malik Murphy, Ty Simpson, Connor Wegman. Just a bunch of different names. We'll get into 2022. Malik Murphy.
Man, he looked like just something out of a computer. Remember when he walked out?
Yes.
He looked like a DN.
Yes. And that's the beauty of the elite level. Yes, you get the NFL caliber quarterbacks at the time you don't know, but then you have guys like Jeff Sims and company and a couple other guys who end up, who knows where it goes. So we'll dive into the last couple of Elite 11 names from 2022 onwards, and then we will get into hour 3 of Old School coming up after this break. Nick Wyman holding it down with Jay Foreman, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at gainatrucking.com.
Put lawn irrigation on automatic. Think Judson Irrigation for worry-free service to Lincoln homeowners and business community. Judson Irrigation will turn on your sprinkler system in the spring, repair or redesign as needed, and turn it off in the fall. For service to orphan sprinklers, remember Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
What if your bank had people who care about the places we call home?
That's what Union Bank does. We encourage this culture of giving back.
I really enjoy working with People City Mission,
The United Way campaign,
Habitat for Humanity, Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Everyone's in to help make that community stronger. To be part of all of this that's going on is pretty remarkable.
At UBT, your money has people with a passion for serving. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
At Planet Fitness, we know how important it is to take care of both your mind and body. That's why now through May 15th, all new members get free massage amenities all month long, so you can reset, recover, and leave feeling stronger than when you came in. Join the club for just $1 down, $15 a month, and get free massage amenities for the month of May. No commitment. Deal ends May 15th. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet. See club for details.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mixed Concrete in Lincoln and Palmyra. Ready Mixed offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they cover the cost of CDL training. Apply with Ready Mixed Concrete today to be eligible for a $2,500 hiring bonus. From Nebco's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today with Ready Mixed Concrete. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet, GMC and Chevrolet, and GMC Truck Month is here. Absolutely huge discounts and 2.9% for 72 months. I also just wanted to share a little bit more about the Coppell family. They've been serving the Omaha and Lincoln and surrounding communities for over 50 years with great customer service and small town charm. That's always been our motto, and we absolutely will not be undersold. It truly is confident buying and confident driving. So come on in, meet the team, check us out at Coppell or at CoppellCars.com. All deals with approved credit.
Want to make the easy call? Call John Henry's. From leaky pipes to a broken AC, flickering lights to furnace fights, even drains and duct cleaning, we've got it handled. Plumbing, heating, air, and electrical, all under one trusted roof. Proudly serving homes across Lincoln, Omaha, and surrounding areas, and ready 24/7. Visit calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Hey, Husker Nation. This is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top-quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
93.7 The Ticket is Lincoln's home for Kansas City Royals baseball in 2026. Catch all the action as Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and a pitching rotation led by Cole Reagans try to lead the Royals back to the postseason. That's Kansas City Royals baseball all summer long. On the air in Lincoln at 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket.
Welcome back. Old School Nick Wyman hanging out with Jay Foreman here on this Monday, 3 to 6 o'clock, as always, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Thank you, Graham Tire, for helping sponsor Old School as always. We're diving into the Elite 11, and we've gone through some names. We're starting to get to the names that we see now in the current state of college football, or guys who are just moved on to the NFL or are currently playing on some top-tier programs. So 2022, Jay, Jackson Arnold was the Elite 11 MVP. Jackson Arnold.
He was at Oklahoma.
Auburn. Now he's at UNLV with Dan Mullen. He's the Anthony Calandria replacement there now. So he was the MVP in 2022.
He showed some promise at Oklahoma.
He did. And
they pulled the plug on him real quick.
Avery Johnson, Eli Holstein was there as well. Kenny Minchie was also there in 2022.
Yeah, he's at Kentucky. He was a Nebraska commit for like 30 seconds.
We talked about it like for a Sunday, and then the next day we just had to burn the clips because they were gone. After that, Dante Moore was also there. Malachi Nelson, who's bounced around college football. You have Christopher Vizienza. He's the Clemson backup last year for Cade Klubnik. He will be the starter more than likely this year for them. That was 2022. 2023, you had Dylan Raiola, Julian Sayans, CJ Carr, Daniel Kalen, Aaron Noland. A lot of those names familiar. Damon Williams, DJ Lagway, Ethan Grugermeyer. You continue down the list. This is a
hold on, keep going because everybody's hit up until Grugermeyer. Where's Grugermeyer at? He's at Penn State, now he's at Virginia Tech.
He'll be at Virginia Tech this year. You have Isaac Wilson at Utah. Then you had Michael Hawkins Jr. He was at Oklahoma. Will Hammond, who potentially could be the Texas Tech quarterback this year, depending on the Brent Sorsby situation. Danny O'Neal, who will be the Wisconsin quarterback. He's coming over from San Diego State. You had Jaden Davis. He's at Michigan right now. Elijah Brown. He's at Stanford. I mean, lot to say about this class.
Out of that 11, 7 or 8 of them are legit.
Julian Sayans was the MVP that year.
And here's the thing about Jaden Davis. He's from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte area. And when he came out of high school, I wouldn't say he was can't miss, but he was dang near close.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because he went to Michigan. And Michigan, even though they had J.J. McCarthy, they aren't even though Jim Harbaugh is really good with quarterbacks, he's not a guru.
Mm-hmm.
He's just not. Now, granted, he coached Andrew Luck, but Andrew Luck, if I coached him, would have went number 1, right? But you think about with Davis, where you go affects how outcomes because you haven't been developed. And then guess what they've done at Michigan? Recruited over him. When they do that, they lack the development process for him. Now, everybody was surprised with him that he didn't go in the portal. Why didn't he go in the portal? He's trying to see how it shakes out with the new coach and the guy that started last year.
Mm-hmm.
And it probably might be a good decision because if you haven't seen what Eric Weddle said, they got to get the backups ready. He can't throw. He can't play the position of quarterback. He's a great athlete. He even said he needed to be playing DB.
You go down to 2024. This has TJ Lateef, Julian Lewis, George McIntyre, who's going to be the Tennessee quarterback this next year. Alex Mansky, he's the Iowa State, more than likely going to be playing there. Keon Russell at Alabama, he was the Elite 11 MVP. He sat last year at Alabama for that team, battling for the quarterback job there. Jerome Koi Sagbatule at Cal, he was a phenomenal freshman with the Bears.
He was really good.
He's really good. He was there, lefty quarterback. Tavian St. Clair, back up at Ohio State. Malik Washington from Maryland. Matt Zollers, he was at Missouri as a backup this past season there for Bo Prabulia. That was that 2024. Last year, 2025, we're sitting here in hindsight a year later. Some names, obviously Jet Tamala is the one that really stands out because Millard South goes out, and goes to this. Now he's at Alabama. He's with the 2024 Elite 11 MVP in Keon Russell. Last year's Dia Bell. He was the MVP of 2025.
You know who his dad is?
Who? Because he played
Raja Bell.
Oh, the former the former NBA
he's
player.
Texas.
He's a Texas quarterback, and that's an interesting one because he's sitting behind Arch Manning, who everybody's against Arch Manning for.
So he's wasting. He's not wasting. He's waiting his time, just like Arch Manning did.
Yep, and you don't waste your time. It's not the worst thing in the world. You learn and you develop. A lot of these names that I'm mentioning, I look at the 2025 class, and I don't really see a whole lot of guys who saw the field or are going to be seeing the field. Even in 2024, I mean, we saw TJ Lateef was a backup. Even though Julian Lewis didn't start to begin, at Colorado. Bryce Baker didn't play at North Carolina as well either because they had Gio Lopez there. Deuce Knight at Auburn didn't play right away as well because they had Jackson Arnold. So a lot of familiarity to George McIntyre, Tennessee, guys who didn't see the field right away. I mean, Saga Batule is kind of an outlier for that class, but you don't have to be a complete stud right out of the gate to prove that, hey, you have a chance to not only make a difference in college football, but also the NFL level. However, we were talking off air. What's the hit rate? I list so many of these names.
It's like 12%.
Some of these guys end up making a career out of themselves in the NFL. Some of these guys are college football icons. And some of them, I see the name and I'm like, I've heard this name, but I can't put a name to a face.
We ain't seen you on the field. And it's the hardest position to evaluate because there's a lot of politics that go into these rankings. And so there's a lot of factors that go around it. You could be playing the quarterback position pretty dang good, but if you don't have guys that can catch a cold, then you just look like garbage. Look at Will Levis when he was at Kentucky. From the difference between his junior year to senior year, he's surrounded by NFL talent, but they told him he needed to come back another year. It didn't work out well for him. Then you look at Carson Beck at Georgia the year before he left. They led the league, led the nation in drops. He goes to Miami, looks like a totally different quarterback, and so. It's just a hard position to really hit on because you have to have everything around it. And also, it's the style of play in high school that gives you the ranking. Like Tim Tebow was a great college quarterback. There's no way that you can convince me with the way that he throws the football and threw the football in college and definitely the pros that he's one of the top 11 throwing quarterbacks in the nation. He's just not. He never was.
So, Scott Lincoln asked, he wants to hear the MVPs from the last 10 years of the Elite 11. I have that list here rather than just a bunch of names. Yes, there are a bunch of names. So
let's get into it at the top of the 5 o'clock hour, and then we'll jump into our NFL drama.
Yeah, so the Elite 11 has took over the show, to say the least.
It might take over the week because Wednesday, we're going to find the guys outside the Elite 11 that outperformed the guys that went.
You do your homework and bring that, and I'll be here from 3 to 4, Harrison 4 to 6, and you can drop some knowledge. We'll do it. 3 to 4. I find it interesting just because we're naming off names, and this is just guys being dudes, just naming off random football players. I have a passion for this, to say the least. So we're gonna keep down that. We'll do the last 10 Elite 11 MVPs. Listed a couple of them in there. We'll dive into that next. Old School Hour 3 coming up. 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
I am Harrison Arns, producer of Ticket Weeknights and Weekends right here at 93.7 The Ticket. My favorite things to do in downtown Lincoln are checking out all the local sports events, whether it's basketball, football, volleyball, or even Lincoln Stars hockey. I enjoy it all because I get to experience one of the best sports communities in the country.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sartorheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
Hey, Husker Nation. This is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top-quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting lincolnteammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
93.7 The Ticket is Lincoln's home for Kansas City Royals baseball in 2026. Catch all the action as Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and a pitching rotation led by Cole Reagans try to lead the Royals back to the postseason. That's Kansas City Royals baseball all summer long. On the air in Lincoln at 93.7 The Ticket.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now. In our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln. This is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Coy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score. Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black shirts answer the call one more time.
And Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln, your tire store next door with 4 Lincoln locations. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Hour 3 of Old School rolls on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Hour 3 Old School is brought to you by Graham Tire Company, celebrating 75 years of service in the Midwest. They're more than just tires. They do all kinds of car and light truck repairs too, from brakes to oil changes. Trust Graham Tire service. You can count on Graham Tire getting you to the places that matter most. Thanks to them for helping sponsor Old School as we go on here. We promise we're going to keep diving into the Elite 11, since that is what the faithful want, as the Elite 11 has taken over the show. And we're going to continue to talk about it not only today, possibly tomorrow, possibly Wednesday. More than likely Wednesday.
Definitely Wednesday.
Definitely Wednesday. Jay Foreman and me have went down the Elite 11 history, and we're going to keep it going. So if you'd love to be part of the conversation, 402-464-5685 on our Sartor Hamann Jewelers text line, or if you are watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, you can leave a comment there, or Allo Channel 961 and everything like that. Let's go down to the text line real quick before we set the stage. Before the break, Scott in Lincoln, I appreciate you. He said, how about stop naming names, list the MVPs from the last 10 years as well. He'd like to hear that more than just a bunch of names. I think it's fun to mention the names, just because if you just list
Let's go back to 99.
Oh, you're diving down it now too. Yes.
Yeah.
And then John in Cortland, he says, spin it all you want. It looks better when it's caught. Old School says when the game starts. Yes. I mean, obviously this is 7-on-7. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's still interesting, and it's a part of football. It's a part of college football. It is a part of what we're talking about here, but it's interesting. We're going to go all the way back and list the MVPs. Obviously the last 10 years, but we can go all the way back to 99 when the Elite 11 started. So Jay, I'll let you, since you have the list as well pulled up, let's dive into it.
1999, the winner. This is way back in the day. I just got out of college. Brock Berlin.
I was less than 1 year old at this time. So
Brock Berlin went to Miami, didn't really do much.
Yep.
2000.
Is this who I think it is? I see the last name, and as a Chiefs fan,
that's him.
I feel like nails on a chalkboard hearing this name, Brody Croyle.
Yes, sir.
Alabama. Yeah, he was a good college quarterback. I remember a little bit of him in my youth watching. I was probably in first grade or something like that when he was playing, but Elite 11 MVP, Cotton Bowl MVP, goes to the Chiefs with guys like Damon Hurd, Tyler Thigpen, and it didn't work out for him with that Kansas City team led by Herm Edwards. So he was the second Elite 11 MVP.
2001, Ben Olsen from Thousand Oaks, California, went to UCLA.
I've never heard of this guy. Actually, yeah, I think I have maybe the old college football games, say the least. Let's see what he got. Yeah, after graduating from UCLA, he was invited to try out for the Eagles, but then broke his foot, and he went undrafted in 2009, and that was the end of his playing career.
Yeah. 2002, Kyle Wright went to Miami. He's the MVP. Ended up didn't do anything. He played 33 games, didn't get drafted. He threw for almost 6,000 yards in college.
There's also some names on that list. If we're just going to keep naming the guys, you had Dennis Dixon, who was there. He was an Oregon quarterback at the time.
Cold, but he was cold.
Yeah, Jamarcus Russell was during that Elite 11. Famous NFL bust.
2003, Rhett Bomer and Matt Tuiasopo.
Rhett played for Kentucky, correct?
I think so.
And he played in the NFL. Let me see if I...
Oklahoma.
Yeah, Oklahoma. And then he played in the NFL. He was on an NFL roster for the Giants, I believe. Was he?
He was selected by the Giants in the 5th round.
Somehow I remember that. Rhett Romar. About it being in the chat, is Nebraska recruiting 8 kids from Millard South this year? Yes, we'll get into that. There's obviously Trey Taylor, obviously. And you have those two, and then you also have Pittman from up in Millard North. There's across the board.
Is he at Millard South too?
He's in Millard North. Millard North. So literally down the road. Millard North, Millard South. They're trying to find their way back to Lincoln. And yes, it's been an exciting time. We'll get into that as we continue on. But a bunch of D1 talent across the board that have played in the Elite 11. So let's continue on down the list. What are we in, 2004?
Yep. This guy right here became notorious for the wrong reason. Mark Sanchez.
Played in the NFL for a long time, fumble. I mean, USC, though. I remember he was
from Mission Viejo.
So that was another one of the MVPs before, the 2010s.
Yeah, so now they're starting to cook with peanut oil. Mark Sanchez was good in college, decent at times in the pros. 2005, Matthew Stafford. We mentioned him before. He went to Highland Park High School in Texas, and he went to Georgia and did everything that he needed to do. And obviously he's one of the best quarterbacks, definitely of his era and definitely of all time in his era. And obviously he was able to win a Super Bowl.
And then the year after that, you go down, it was John Brantley, who was a Florida commit the year after Tim Tebow committed. So you had him there. 2007 Gatorade National Play of the Year. He was a national champion on that team. How much did he actually play? That's a very, very good question. He played in the spring game, it says. He's starting quarterback for 2011. But got injured against Alabama that year and missed the following 2 games. So he played a little bit, not a whole lot. NFL career, he went undrafted in 2012 and ended up getting signed by the Ravens for camp. Got cut on the 1st of August in 2012.
2007, Blaine Gabbert. We saw him up close and personal. So did Ndamukong Suh, House of Spears. And he actually was decent in Jacksonville. Wasn't probably
he had a lot of losses add up because he just didn't have a lot of that. This is after the Maurice Drews of the world are gone.
Then he was a target because you're drafted so high, so they looked to solve their problems by benching you.
And they end up having, this was when like Chad Henne was there as well. He was a journeyman quarterback, and then they end up throwing like Bortles. They end up drafting him. He ends up going to the 49ers and jumping around the NFL as a backup that year when Tom Brady and the Buccaneers won the Super Bowl. So
then he went to the Chiefs and chilled with them, and then he just retired in 2023.
So yeah, Super Bowl champion though, and
great career.
Yeah,
made a lot of money.
A lot of veteran quarterbacks in there. Yeah, Landry Jones was in that same Elite 11 class alongside Mike Glennon. Mike Glennon was a long-time quarterback too.
You know what Mike Glennon is known for?
Is that long neck, right?
Long neck.
I've always seen
what
those.
else?
What else? Played at NC State. What else?
The coach started him over Russell Wilson.
At NC State.
That's an example. Russell Wilson, too short to go, ends up winning the Super Bowl MVP, winning the Super Bowl, and obviously just retired today. He's going to do TV.
Yeah.
2008, Aaron Murray, his brother. Aaron Murray's known for being on The Bachelor. His brother being on The Bachelor.
I know him from being a commentator after the fact. Yes, I remember him from after the fact. During his playing career, because he was also a Chiefs guy too. Chiefs had a lot of
Chiefs love Elite 11.
Chiefs are big Elite 11.
Trey Taylor, you're going to Elite 11. You're going to the Chiefs.
Trey
Taylor, you're getting drafted by the Chiefs. Congratulations.
Chiefs are. Andy Reid must be a big Elite 11 guy.
And he had a good career at Georgia, 4-year starter. They love him down there just as much as Matthew Stafford. So he wasn't able to make it in the pros, but was really good in college. Number 2009. This is where it goes a little bit of a downturn. Jake Heaps from Skyline, Washington. He went to BYU, Kansas, and Miami.
Yeah.
Jeff Driscoll went to Florida and Louisiana Tech. He was 2010.
I remember him a little bit. He was on the team when Florida lost to Georgia Southern, when the two guys were blocking each other. He was the quarterback during that Florida season that went haywire, pretty much.
Yeah. And then 2011, Neil Burcham, Tanner Magnum, and Jameis Winston. All
co-MVPs.
Co-MVPs.
One of those
guys looks a little bit different than everybody else.
I mean, Tanner Magnum, BYU, Neil Burcham was at SMU, undrafted. Both those guys going undrafted, and then Jameis Winston, Heisman Trophy winner, still playing across the board, national champion, first overall pick. So yeah, it stands out like a sore thumb in that 2011 Elite 11.
Then 2012, Santi Willard from Winter Park, Florida, went to UCLA right out of the get-go in South Florida.
Undrafted though. Then and then that's the same class.
He didn't play at either spot.
Johnny Stanton was in that same class. There's a guy, and that's a guy who ended up playing fullback in the NFL.
Yeah.
Former Husker for a little bit there as well. So
Mike Riley recruit, right?
Yeah, I think he was there, and then he ended up going to UNLV. So that was Christian Hackenberg, Jared Goff in that one. So so Asante Woolyard got the MVP of the Elite 11 over guys like Jared Goff.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, it's just a title, but it could mean something because some of these guys you mentioned, you can go from the Matthew Staffords of the world to the Asante Woolyards of the world.
Yeah.
2013, you go down there as well. That was Sean White. Not to be confused with the skateboarder figure skate, the snowboarder. He was at Auburn for a cup of coffee as well there. Then Blake Barnett was 2014. He was an Alabama guy, Arizona State, South Florida, across the board. You just continue down the list of names. There's some interesting ones. So if we go to the past 10 years, well, Shea Patterson for obvious reasons. So the past 10 years, 2016 would put us at the 10-year mark.
You got Tua.
That was Tua.
It went to Bama, and obviously rest is history. Then 2017, Justin Fields. I think it worked out, even though Georgia didn't work out well. But then when he went to Ohio State, it was great.
Made it to the NFL, both those guys.
2018, this is an interesting guy, is Spencer Rattler. Right?
Yeah.
He played in that kind of shotgun or pistol formation in high school. Barely over, if he's 6 feet tall, that's barely. A lot of expectations to going to Oklahoma, but here comes Caleb Williams, and he gets his starting spot took by the backup quarterback. But he's in the NFL, and you got to give him credit for that. Was a 5th-round pick, had a chance to start a few games last year and did decently good under not ideal circumstances. But that was a guy that was going to Oklahoma, he thought he was going to be a program changer.
I remember when he started that 2020 season, it was all eyes on him. This guy's going to be, the next Patrick Mahomes or whatever you want to call him or whatever his next comp is and everything. And then they lose a couple early games during that 2020 COVID season. Then, hey, there's this guy named Caleb Williams as the backup quarterback. He jumps in. He's famous for Caleb Williams during his Oklahoma time. I remember there was a ball where they fumbled a snap and he picks it up and runs it for a first down on 4th down inches against Kansas. And so the rest is history. Spencer Rattler, I mean, again, all these guys making a career out of the NFL so far in some way. CJ Stroud was 2019.
Yep.
CJ Stroud.
That worked out well.
Pretty well. I mean, made it to the playoffs last year, regardless of how that ended.
This next one works out well, too.
And like we just mentioned him, with Caleb Williams. He, for obvious reasons, took a huge step with the Chicago Bears this year. Obviously playing Oklahoma and USC during his college years, Heisman Trophy winner in 2022. And then 2021 was Cade Klubnik in that class. And, he's an NFL draft pick. Did things go great at Clemson? No. But, I mean, still showed flashes of signs across the board. So that's another one. 2022, Jackson Arnold.
We talked about him.
At the time, I remember Oklahoma, he was like this is after the Caleb Williams. This is also after Lincoln Riley leaves too.
Yeah.
So it's a huge, void to fill. Brett Venables takes that job.
First big recruit quarterback wise.
Yeah. And it was like, what's Brett Venables, the head coach, going to look? He was a very good, successful defensive coordinator there with Dabo Swinney at Clemson, but they bring him in there. Jackson Arnold, up and down throughout that time, goes to Auburn there as well. There's Hugh Freeze. Now he's at UNLV, which Dan Mullen has done a pretty good job with quarterbacks in college, whether that be, Calandria had solid stats last year. Dak Prescott, he had him at Mississippi State. Now he's got Jackson Arnold there for the 2026 college football season.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's just interesting to see, as you move past, now you got Julian Sayin, Keelan Russell. We'll wait and see on Keelan Russell. I think Julian Sayin, that definitely going to be an NFL draft pick. And then you got Dia Bell, Rashad Bell's son, who is, by all accounts, been able to really, step up his process as far as being a competitor and will his team to win in high school. And then when he goes out on these circuits, he's been lights out. Now he's at Texas, getting paid, chilling, being developed, watching Arch Manning, and let's see what he does. Maybe at some spot duty this year if they're blowing out teams. But he has a bright future. And so now you're seeing it goes in flows. You'll go 3 or 4 years with really good, Elite 11 classes and, of course, an MVP. And then you'll dip in and just kind of take anybody and everybody. And that's what you're seeing right here as far as the results. Because those guys, either the scouts or the coaches see something that normally you don't see or don't want, that attribute, right? And know that's going to be a deterrent for them to sign him or a quarterback. Other teams will be like, oh, you went to Sherman Oaks or you went to American Heritage in Florida? We'll take you. And then next thing you know, they got buyer's remorse.
Gus Mohawk on the text line, if you'd love to be part of the conversation, 402-464-5685. He says he's not too familiar with Tommy Frazier's high school career, but would Tommy or Brooke Behringer have been invited to Elite 11 camp? It was back before, he obviously came around 1990. Would have those two been invited? I know there wasn't
Tommy before Brooke, because Tommy won a state championship or two, I think.
Yeah,
Brooke was from the middle of nowhere, Kansas, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So a lot of these guys. He said I know there wasn't a star rating system back then, but I wonder what rating they would have been and how they would have fared in Elite 11. I mean, it's also very different too because Tommy Frazier, it's an option style. It's a very different game nowadays. It's very.
He was the ultimate winner. He was kind of like Tim Tebow.
Yeah, to put your body on the line, going to go out there.
Tim Tebow.
Because Tim Tebow wasn't known for the big arm strength and everything. He was good in college with the guys around him across the board. You hear the stories about those Florida teams. Those national championship teams across the board. But Tim Tebow is the guy, if you need to get a yard, he's gonna put his head down. He ain't sliding. He's gonna take the hit. Obviously, he had that famous rain game against Florida State where his jersey's just all, white jerseys, just mud and everything, and he's got the blood on and everything like that. I'm curious what that would have looked like. Elite 11 way back. Imagine if there was Elite 11 back in the 80s, even when a guy like John Elway would have been invited because he obviously
would have been. John Elway would have been a Madden rankings back then 100.
That's what I mean. Imagine if there was Elite 11 back then. It's only been around since 99, but it's a very small sample size because, like you mentioned, quarterbacks, whether that be in the United States, Canada, Europe, Mexico, etc., all the different leagues out there,
it's not good.
It's a very hit or miss rate, and I'm curious what the rate is here. I know I looked on the Elite 11's website, and they say 28 of the 32 quarterbacks currently in the NFL are starting in the NFL who went to the Elite 11. Obviously, different circumstances. That's 28 different franchises, 28 different teams, and 28 different interesting situations, like a guy like Tua. Tua, for obvious reasons, was huge at Alabama. Goes there. Does he count as one of those 28 of 32? Because
if you go like the last 10 years, you go 10, times 11. I don't know what that is, 110, and then you only got 28 guys that are starting.
It's very, and then that's also,
and you got a couple guys that are really old.
And there's also guys like each class has about 15 guys on it.
Right.
So you maybe the hit rate is very low. Tim and Lincoln says, would there be a Brooke Behringer to Josh Allen comp here? What would be the best quarterback comp for Brooke Behringer? He's an interesting one because like today it's a very different world of college football.
Brooke Behringer?
Yeah. Who would his comp be to today's NFL? Because like.
Like forget Elite 11?
Yeah, just forget Elite 11. Who would he
like
be?
A backup. He's like Blaine Gabbert.
Like Blaine Gabbert, and he's a good backup quarterback to bring
backup,
in.
Yeah.
That's good.
Big tall kid. Can run a little bit.
Can make it work.
Yeah.
And you have the guys around you like P and Tommy Frazier. They are the names. They were the guy. They were the QBs. But they have so many dudes around them across the board.
T. Frazier's like Jalen Hurts right now.
He is?
Yeah.
I've seen all the highlights of Tommy Frazier, the one where he's just breaking all the tackles and everything. I wasn't old enough to see those championship teams. I've seen the documentaries. I've seen the big, BTN classics when Nebraska wasn't even in the Big Ten. I've seen that. But that's interesting to say the least. What the Elite 11 has to bring. The Elite 11. Who knows? Who we got to figure out next year because Nebraska's had it's crazy. Nebraska has so many different ties to the Elite 11. Daniel Kaelin was there. We can count Johnny Stanton. I guess.
Yeah, Johnny Stanton.
Daniel Kaelin, TJ Lateef, Dylan Raiola, Trey Taylor, and if you just Nebraska natives, Jet Tamala's in there, and Jet Tamala's in a similar to Bell's situation. He's going to a prolific college football school. He's not here in the state of Nebraska, but Bell's going to be at Texas, sitting behind Arch Manning. Arch Manning waited his turn behind Quinn Ewers. Jet Tamala's going to be doing that probably. Keon Russell, who also an Elite 11 guy as well. And it's curious how they do. Obviously, different teams dip into this. We mentioned Alabama, a ton of them coming there. You have a couple names like I don't know, the Oklahomas of the world, the Clemsons of the world. A lot of different teams dip into the Elite 11. Ohio State has a ton with Justin Fields, Dwayne Haskins, Julian Sayin, St. Clair. It's very interesting how some of these programs are very locked in the Elite 11. And then some under the radar teams who are, like Texas Tech. They're obviously spending a lot of money. Will Hammond's the only one they've had. Brent Sorbsby wasn't there. Even go back to when Graham Harrell. Graham Harrell was an Elite 11 guy with Michael Crabtree and company.
Right. But he was a great college quarterback.
Good quarter, and he could sling it like with the best of them. Colt McCoy, he wasn't an Elite 11 guy. Colt McCoy was a solid quarterback. It's interesting how many programs dip into the Elite 11 and teams that don't, because Nebraska kind of has a little say now since I'd say like 2018, 2019 with this. But then you have Ohio State, Alabama, those, and then Michigan doesn't really have their name all those. JJ McCarthy was there, but it's interesting how so many different programs have their hands all over the Elite 11 and ones that just, all right, we're just going to see who we get in our recruiting class, kind of like a Minnesota you talked about.
Yeah. It's to each his own, as eyes of the beholder. And, I think how you develop a quarterback is how you fit your system to his skill set. About Will Grier, he's kind of grew up as a gunslinger in that type of environment. And now he's, he played how many years and, is famous for when West Virginia went into to Austin, Texas and beat Texas.
So what if I told you Rudy didn't know where Will Grier went to college? Rudy did.
West Virginia?
Yeah, but Rudy didn't know. So last Memorial Day, last Monday, me, Rudy, and Connor, the intern for Early Break, we filled in for Early Break on Memorial Day. It was a lot of fun. It was the same show. The breakers were like, who are these guys? They had no idea who we were. But they stuck around and gave us a chance. And for the Shut Up Simple segment, we did backup, because we were the backups to the show with Jake, Sip, and Bush. We did backup quarterbacks where they went to college. And one of them was Will Grier. And Rudy, he's a Texas fan. He didn't know where Will Grier went to college. Will Grier has that famous pass that you mentioned back in the end zone.
Horns down and all that stuff.
Yeah, and that was a huge one for West Virginia when they were in the prime of their opening after the Geno Smith, Tavon Austin era, and et cetera. Pat White. You had that 2010s era with Will Grier. I remember Will Grier was that guy, and I really thought he was gonna be that guy. He had the intangibles, but had a cup of coffee in the NFL, and that's the beauty of what this Elite 11 is. You still got a story to write. These kids are still growing. At the time we mentioned, names like Kate Klubnik and Justin Fields, et cetera. These guys were 17, 18 years old when they were at this camp. They end up writing their own story at the end of the day.
Yeah, you're talking about they have to, write their own story. You need a ghostwriter with you if you want to keep in, that you got people that need to help you write that story. And so that's where hard thing to evaluate, but it's hard to evaluate the end result, because if I don't do a good job, let's look at Adrian Martinez. If I don't do a good job putting people around Adrian, is it Adrian's fault or mine? Now, sure, Adrian probably need to do some things better, but if you're not continuing to get the Stanley Morgans and those guys, then you're really doing a disservice to him and the time there and the team.
It's only one. It's one guy. It's a team game. It's a beautiful team game. That's what football is. So we're going to take our first break of hour 3. Come back. We're going to talk about the NFL. It is June. It is June 1st. A lot of trades, a lot of signings, some familiar faces, ending up at different places. Some returning home after 10 years of being away from that franchise. We'll talk about it on the other side. Nick Wyman, Jay Foreman, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Graham Tire presents life's greatest adventures.
Okay, take the worm, put it on the hook. Now bring your pole back and throw it forward. And just let the fish come to you.
I got a bite! It's a big one, Dad!
Great road trips start with great service. Graham Tire, your tire store next door, with 5 convenient Lincoln locations, getting you to the places that matter most.
Is your technology built for where you are or for where you're going? Can your current technology support future growth? To break through that invisible ceiling, you need executive-level strategic technology advising. Moser can help your business grow appropriately and efficiently, giving you the ability to turn your tech stack from a cost center into a growth engine. Visit moserit.com/theticket. That's moserit.com/theticket to learn more.
Play ball! Some places just feel like home. In Lincoln, that place is Haymarket Park. For 25 seasons, it's where we gather with friends, with family, and our out-of-towners who want that same warm welcome. It's where kids catch their first foul ball, where we're all neighbors for at least 9 innings. Because when Salt Dogs fans root for our home team, there isn't a single stranger in the stands. So come one, come all, and let your local tradition play on. Get your tickets at saltdogs.com.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Another warm and muggy day here for our Monday. We'll get up to 89 for a high temperature, light northeast wind, and just the slightest chance for a pop-up thunder shower here this afternoon. Tonight, mostly cloudy, 64 for your overnight low. We'll get up to 82 on Tuesday and partly cloudy. I'm meteorologist Aaron Downiford, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Big value and big flavor meet at Wings and Rings thanks to the all-new delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get 1 half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney locations. Stop by Wings and Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town.
Are you looking for a fresh new hangout spot? Let me tell you about Liquid Assets Sports Bar, where Mondays mean new weekly drink and food features. With 23 taps, a full lineup of cans and bottles, and 40 TVs blasting every sports package out there, you'll never worry about missing a play. Savor high-end spirits at their stylish top-shelf bar, enjoy a healthy menu, family-friendly atmosphere, and catch all of your favorite teams every day. Doors open daily at 11 a.m. Liquid Assets Sports Bar, located at 2755 Jamie Lane in South Lincoln.
Put lawn irrigation on automatic. Think Judson Irrigation for worry-free service to Lincoln homeowners and business community. Judson Irrigation will turn on your sprinkler system in the spring, repair or redesign as needed, and turn it off in the fall. For service to orphan sprinklers, remember Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here, summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Old School, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Nick Wyman standing in here for Austin Orman. You'll probably see me a lot here this week as Austin is on vacation. Sounds like he went to Alaska. Never been to Alaska. I'm a warm weather guy, but he's having fun out there. Harrison Arnsby stepping in. A lot of different faces across the board. Maybe some Rudy action in here. You'll see a lot of faces. But Jay Foreman is here as always, 3 to 6, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. We just had a lively discussion about the Elite 11. We're going to stick with football, but we're going to move up to the professional level because a lot of news in the National Football League today. I mean, the first one to start with, Myles Garrett getting traded to the Los Angeles Rams. I mean, they had Aaron Donald for a number of years. Now they're getting, a defensive game record in Myles Garrett alongside that offense, which still has a reigning MVP. You have Puka Nacua, you have Kyron Williams, and you add, another face to your defense. You just got Trent McDuffie, former Chiefs corner. Now you add Myles Garrett to the fold. Super Bowl or bust for the Rams is what it seems like going into the 2026 season.
Well, the Rams over, McVay and Snead, their history, they've done a really good job of drafting guys a little bit later or undrafted free agents and developing them rapidly into viable NFL starters. And one of the things that hurt them against Seattle last year, or just the whole season, they had the worst passing coverage defense in the league. A bunch of young players. So how do you remedy that quickly when the window with Stafford is probably 1 or 2 years, and that's why you drafted, Simpson, is you go get a true lockdown corner from the Chiefs, so you don't have to worry about development.
They got two. They got two of them. They got Jalen Watson too, so they have the Chiefs secondary pretty much.
Yeah, but McDuffie's
that guy.
He's the only lockdown guy. And then how else do you make sure that McDuffie is up to the billing? You go get the best pass rusher out there right now, the guy that's the most unstoppable force at all 4 defensive line positions. They play a 4-down, scheme in Myles Garrett. Now, on the flip side, you have to send Cleveland Browns your 2-time Pro Bowl pass rusher and Jared Verse. So you're getting you're trading a guy that's a Pro Bowler, ascending player, and you're getting a Hall of Famer that's still in his prime. And it's a shocking trade, but I'm not shocked because it's the Rams.
Well, the full trade details: the Browns received a first-round pick in 2027, a second-round pick in 2028, and a third-rounder in 2029, alongside Jared Verse for the Rams. The Rams gave up a little bit of draft capital, but you're getting Myles Garrett.
Yeah, it's worth it.
It's 100% worth it, especially Myles Garrett, who's been productive on a not a good team. The Browns haven't been good while he's been there. I had a couple of decent years there when Baker Mayfield was around, but Myles Garrett's a game wrecker, and you're bringing in that division's going to be heavyweight bouts every week when they play, especially that first game. His first debut is going to be in Australia as they take on the 49ers. So you have that one, and you have the Seahawks, the defending Super Bowl champions in there. And then, as we mentioned, Box Cardinals just kind of staying afloat there. But those 3 teams are going to be heavyweight bouts between Seattle, Los Angeles, the Rams, and then obviously the San Francisco 49ers every week. And you had Myles Garrett to the fold, especially that offense. Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua and company, still a Super Bowl window there, and they were very close, as you mentioned. And that defense, we saw what Aaron Donald was able to do during his career with the Rams. Now you plug a guy in who's just as dominant, as good as Aaron Donald. I can't wait to see what this Rams team has to fold. Angry Rams fans happy on the chat. He said, heck yeah. So I'm not surprised. You get Myles Garrett on your team. The only people who are happy about this is the AFC North. because
because
the
quarterbacks are really happy.
Quarterbacks,
so the coordinators. I mean, you got to think with the Rams. They got to keep up with the 49ers. You expect the 49ers to be healthy, and so they get Bosa and company back, and they've drafted pretty good over the the last few years. And so you got to think and their offense has been a juggernaut, so they'll be right in the mix. And Seattle is a young team too. They're the defending Super Bowl champs. And so for Sean McVay, you want to stay ahead of the curve. And so you get a guy that's not only your linchpin, but he's a guy that plays the biggest and biggest moments. Now, with this defensive line, they have Puna Ford that's right there in the nose tackle. Braden Fisk, who is Jared Verse's teammate from college. You can plug him in there as another defensive tackle. Kobe Turner is another guy that's developed. Then they have guys behind them that can be situational pass rushers to go along with Byron Young and Myles Garrett and all that type of stuff. The biggest thing that you have to realize, it's not just about Matthew Stafford. It's also about Devontae Adams as well. Because their Super Bowl window is closing, and Puka Nacua has some things he has to handle outside of football in order to be the best he can be. It's a good young offensive line, plethora of athletes and playmakers on offense. The defense is now just upgraded. When you think their defensive backfield of Cam Kitchens, a big hitter from Miami, Curl, the free safety, McDuffie, and then Quentin Lake. You talking about playmakers along with Watson? Yeah, the vibe is different in the Rams facility right now, and they've put the rest of the league on notice.
Yeah, they have a roster. They have a coach who's really talented, Sean McVay across the board. Thomas Lincoln says Joe Burrow is taking a deep breath with his offensive line. I mean, yeah, that's an answer they have to schedule. I mean, the Ravens also, the Steelers, so many teams. I mean, he wrecked havoc in the AFC North.
Dude, he had a graveyard in Halloween.
I mean,
he had little graveyard things of all the quarterbacks he sacked.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Most famous one I remember is that was he the one who got in that with Mason Rudolph, that Thursday night game where he had his helmet, and that was a very famous one for himself. But yeah, he had obviously the sack record, defensive player of the year. He's able to do it all. Obviously, they're playing more games now, but he's able to most sacks in a regular season. Was able to do that last year against Joe Burrow. That's a huge one. Also, you talk about the Super Bowl. You have the Patriots making a trade that is now official.
Yeah,
it's been talked about.
It's been in the works for like 2 years. I mean, Vrabel's been the head coach of the Patriots even before he was employed. Was there obviously last year, it's been rampant as soon as Vrabel signed on the dotted line. Obviously, there are some issues between Brown and Jalen Hurts, and it just doesn't seem like it's going to be repaired. And Philly's trying to make Devontae Smith the number one.
Mm-hmm.
And the Patriots need a playmaker out there. They tried Stephon Diggs. I think obviously he had off the field stuff. Now, like Vrabel can't really talk much, but
yes.
Now you bring in AJ Brown. That's still a number one. I mean, he's a guy, when he gets the ball, he's a problem. And what are they doing? They're looking at their team from last year. We talked about baseball and softball. Look, they went to the Super Bowl and got beat by a better team.
Yep.
But they didn't stay pat. They drafted another offensive lineman because they felt like they didn't hold up well against the Super Bowl champs. And then what do? We need to be more explosive with a true number one on the outside.
The Super Bowl window is still there. That's why.
To keep our quarterback, who on his own made a huge leap last year.
And they were a team that, there was a lot of expectation, maybe sniff the wild card. They were able to not only do that, but also win the entire AFC. And they, ran a gauntlet through their division.
Yeah, they had the easiest schedule in the league. But what they did was they went out and won all the games. They beat the Buffalo Bills, who had won, the AFC East for the last 5 or 6 years. And so that's another competitive division as well.
Mm-hmm. And then you have they dominated the Jets. They dominated the Dolphins. They're looking to do that. Full trade details. AJ Brown to the Patriots for a first-round pick in 2028 and a 2027 fifth-round pick. So didn't have to give up a ton, but like you said, the Eagles, it just kind of parting ways. It seems like it was kind of written in stone for a while now, moving Devontae Smith and their Eagles. They'll probably be fine. I mean, there were games where A.J. Brown obviously wasn't happy. He did make some big plays in those Super Bowl runs for them, but moves on, goes to the Patriots. They're bringing in he's a veteran wide receiver at this point, was with the Titans beforehand. And the Patriots, like you said, they're drafting offensive line. They knew that was an issue. We saw it on full display in Santa Clara with the Super Bowl. But now you're bringing in another weapon you can help. They have some nice pieces across the board. You have a quarterback who took a huge leap. They're making another leap, and they're going to be the front runners for, I'd say, probably the AFC as of right now, because of what they were able to do and what they're bringing back, especially with under Mike Vrabel, Drake May, and company around that. So that was a big one. You had a reunion today, sticking in the Eagles.
Last but not least.
This one, I really like this one just because the New York Giants are bringing back OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr. Was there about 10 years ago. Was a huge rookie sensation there. Has one of the greatest catches in NFL history. Thanksgiving weekend against the Dallas Cowboys at the Meadowlands. And then now he's back. If you would have told me Odell Beckham Jr. would be playing with Cam Scadaboo and Jackson Dart, potentially, I would be like, all right, turn off the PlayStation. You did just sign him out of the free agency in Madden. Turn it off. That's not a possibility. But no, it's a real possibility. Giants also bringing in Braxton Berrios, a longtime special teams punt return, kick returner, Miami Hurricane. Bring him in. And they also Juju Smith-Schuster, a longtime veteran wide receiver. If Juju Smith-Schuster and Odell Beckham, it's not the year 2018, but they are on an NFL roster in 2026. And I think that's really exciting, not just for OBJ, but just the Giants in general. Giants have had some long NFL seasons, whether that was, the end of the Tom Coughlin era, whether that was the end of the Eli Manning era, the Daniel Jones era finally ending, when you're seeing Drew Lock and Tommy DeVito. Then you draft Jackson Dart and you get Cam Scadaboo and Malik Neighbors. You have some promise there. Malik Neighbors coming off an ACL injury. You need some help at wide receiver with Gunnar Olszewski going down with the season-ending injury last week. Bring in some veterans. And you have, obviously, they have a new head coach in Harbaugh as well, so that brings a whole lot of excitement as well. But you have Odell Beckham Jr., which it gives some closure, not just for Giants fans, because he left, goes to the Browns, gets traded. Wasn't exactly.
It was never the same, and he kind of found his way with the Rams, got hurt, but then
goes to the Ravens.
Super Bowl, he goes to Ravens and never kind of got back on it. So and Harbaugh always liked him, and I think he's matured. He's matured a lot since they went on the vacation on the yacht before a playoff game.
That was a cursed Giants fans for a long time.
But he's matured. He's been able to mentor some of the younger receivers to wherever he's been. And so, it's been something that's been in the works because of his relationship with Harbaugh and the circumstances of what happened. So now he's, got a chance to continue his career.
And it's kind of closure for him because I remember, Giants fans, I mean, I was a big OBJ. I'm not a Giants fan, but I loved OBJ and just kind of what he was and the swagger he kind of played with. And he had the great catches, just kind of what he was. I mean, he was on a Madden cover. He did it all. Kind of a little bit closer. I mean, it didn't end well. I remember Josh Norman and him when the Panthers were on their Super Bowl run. He got in the baseball bat incident where they had the bat and they get into a fight. And he also, kicks the kicking net on the sideline and everything like that. Had a whole lot of off the field stuff and then gets traded to Cleveland. As you mentioned, doesn't have, the production that he had when he was with the Giants in his younger careers. Gives a little closure to the guy. Maybe if this is his last year at the Giants and potentially, being a mentor. You have a guy like Malik Neighbors who showed flashes when healthy. You have a young franchise with Jackson Dart possibly being your franchise quarterback. You have Cam Scadaboo. You're trying to see what you can do because the Giants have, longed for those Super Bowl years when they beat the Patriots both those times since the turn of the century. But you're just hoping to see what, this team's able to do. And you have OBJ. It looks like he was rocking number 3. I'd love to see him wear number 13, but Jalen Hyatt has that number. But it's kind of a little closure, not just for the Giants and what he's been able to do there, but also for himself. And maybe if this is last year in the NFL, if he makes the roster, because still have camp going on. We still have preseason to go through. They brought in not only him, they brought in, like I mentioned, Braxton Berrios and Juju Smith-Schuster, 2 other veterans. So I'm curious where OBJ lands, maybe wide receiver 3 or 4 on the roster. And be just a veteran leader. And he's, like you said, more matured player than he was his first go around with the Giants.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal athlete, so he'll be able to provide something. Maybe his 50-50 balls down in the end zone. I'm sure he can run, decently well, or he won't be picked up. He can probably maybe have the, not roll the coverage to him, but maybe he can kind of dictate some of the coverage by getting eating up the space between linebackers and safety. So, the opportunities there for him and Juju, and then obviously Braxton Berrios as well. They're probably going to help more on special teams. But I think the biggest thing that we didn't, go over is also they've had some injuries, but they lost Wan'Dale Robinson in free agency to Tennessee. So that's a 1,000-yard receiver. It's a young ascending player. And, you lose him out of your locker room because he's been a great representation for the Giants. So, I think, look, NFL gets active. I think the Myles Garrett trade is crazy. I think the OBJ signing was a formality, and I think the AJ Brown situation was probably the worst, unknown ever. If you didn't know that it was already done, and the whole thing with Vrabel and his situation, I think the reporter lady is the one that reported it before. After the combine. So this thing has been waiting to be official for quite some time. Philly did a good job, and same with A.J. Brown and all his representation of following the instructions by not saying anything. And so, look, there's going to be more trades in the NFL over the next 10 years because that's the way the NFL is right now. It's almost like Moneyball and like with the Rams. They notoriously don't care about draft picks because they're always in a win now mindset. You got to think they picked up Von Miller one year, and Ndamukong Suh one year. They have great players out there that they feel like they can get or sign. They'll trade for them or they'll sign them and then let them go. And so, or not let them go, but let them go. Feast.
Yep. One more NFL news. You had Russell Wilson finalizing deal to become a CBS Sports analyst instead of playing this next year. He had an offer on the table for the New York Jets to join the team as a backup behind Geno Smith, but he acknowledged last month that he was considering joining the broadcast, which, I mean, big mind. He's played in a lot of different situations. Should be interesting to see where he goes with his career. If that was it for him, because, regardless of what happened in Denver, regardless of what happened in New York, Russell Wilson was, a fun quarterback throughout not only the 2010s, whether that be, like we mentioned, NC State, leaving to go to Wisconsin, and then go to Seattle and be a part of the Super Bowl team that ended up, winning the Lombardi, dominating the Denver Broncos in New York, and then obviously playing the Patriots a couple years too. So that is one other note. So a lot of really cool things across the NFL. Good for him. I mean,
Hey, listen, if your only option is to play for the Jets and you played as long as Russell Wilson and you've been as good as he has been and you made all that money, that send me to doing TV as well.
Hey, I mean, it's fine. You gotta be on every Sunday. So
you just don't got to play for the Jets.
That's fair. Yeah. But Geno Smith does, and Kate Klubnik's there, as we mentioned. Elite 11, Kate Klubnik. We'll crap off the show on the other side. Nick Wyman, Jay Foreman, 92.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you looking for a fresh new hangout spot? Let me tell you about Liquid Assets Sports Bar, where Mondays mean new weekly drink and food features. With 23 taps, a full lineup of cans and bottles, and 40 TVs blasting every sports package out there, you'll never worry about missing a play. Savor high-end spirits at their stylish top-shelf bar, enjoy a healthy menu, family-friendly atmosphere, and catch all of your favorite teams every day. Doors open daily at 11 a.m. Liquid Assets Sports Bar, located at 2755 Jamie Lane in South Lincoln.
I am Harrison Arns, producer of Ticket Weeknights and Weekends right here at 93.7 The Ticket. My favorite things to do in downtown Lincoln are checking out all the local sports events, whether it's basketball, football, volleyball, or even Lincoln Stars hockey. I enjoy it all because I get to experience one of the best sports communities in the country.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Another warm and muggy day here for our Monday. We'll get up to 89 for a high temperature, light northeast wind, and just the slightest chance for a pop-up thunder shower here this afternoon. Tonight, mostly cloudy, 64 for your overnight low. We'll get up to 82 on Tuesday and partly cloudy. I'm meteorologist Aaron Downiford, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Is your technology built for where you are or for where you're going? Can your current technology support future growth? To break through that invisible ceiling, you need executive-level strategic technology advising. Moser can help your business grow appropriately and efficiently, giving you the ability to turn your tech stack from a cost center into a growth engine. Visit moserit.com/theticket. That's moserit.com/theticket to learn more.
Play ball!
Some places just feel like home. In Lincoln, that place is Haymarket Park. For 25 seasons, it's where we gather with friends, with family, and our out-of-towners who want that same warm welcome. It's where kids catch their first foul ball, where we're all neighbors for at least 9 innings. Because when Salt Dogs fans root for our home team, there isn't a single stranger in the stands. So come one, come all, and let your local tradition play on. Get your tickets at saltdogs.com.
Put lawn irrigation on automatic. Think Judson Irrigation for worry-free service to Lincoln homeowners and business community. Judson Irrigation will turn on your sprinkler system in the spring, repair or redesign as needed, and turn it off in the fall. For service to orphan sprinklers, remember Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
When something breaks, you want someone you can trust to fix it right. Empire Repair is now open in Waverly and ready to serve our community with reliable auto repair and maintenance. From routine service to bigger repairs, our team is here to keep you on the road. Stop by Empire Repair in Waverly or call 402-786-2224 to schedule your service today. Empire Repair, proud to serve Waverly.
Big value and big flavor meet at Wings and Rings thanks to the all-new delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get one half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney location. Stop by Wings and Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, Old School. One more segment before we send it off to the Royals recap with myself. The Royals right now have lost 16 of their last 19 games and are near the bunker of the American League Central Division. We'll talk about that on the other side. But one more segment of Old School, 402-464-5685. Jay, we've talked a lot about football, but there was some news today officially with the college football playoff schedule for this upcoming season in 2026. Obviously your season will conclude that Black Friday weekend, as always, as normal, like it always is. You'll have your conference championships the following week after that. However, the first round of the playoff will not begin until December 18th and 19th with those on-campus sites for that first round games of the 12-team playoff. We're still at a 12-team playoff this year, people. It's not expanding yet. And then you'll have the quarterfinal games December 30th and January 1st, where those are the Rose Bowl, Cotton Bowl, Peach Bowl, and the Fiesta Bowl. And then the semifinals are not until January 14th and 15th, respectively, of that being the Sugar Bowl and the Orange Bowl. And then the championship game is not going to be played until January 25th in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. I usually late January, I'm thinking AFC, NFC championship game, potential Pro Bowl or Super Bowl talk. We're going to be waiting a while between games. And the schedule, I mean, camp starts early August, goes all the way until almost February now. I mean, if they expand a playoff, like it's been talked about for a long time, I mean, they might roll into February at this rate.
Yeah, I think this is the year that, June 1st is the NFL, like, announcing trades. July 1st, Nick, is generally when you'll hear some college football news and they'll make some adjustments. So hopefully they come out and say, you know what, this is the last year of the playoffs going way into the end of January. And they move the schedule back and start early. But it's a long season. College football playoffs with 12 teams, they got to get it in. They got to be able to, go site to site. But there's no way you should be playing to almost the beginning of February.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the schedule. I mean, you got the December 30th game will be on a Wednesday in the quarterfinals. Friday, January 1st, the game's split across ESPN and TNT Sports. Then the quarterfinals will be on a Friday and on January 1st then with the 3 slate games like always. Your semifinals then will be on a Friday and a Thursday, and that will lead into the championship game, which will obviously be played on that Monday at 6:30 Central Time from Las Vegas. Interesting, because I don't know. You obviously have to have off days in between, but there's got to be a way to shorten it down so you're not just
maybe do a week or something like that. But you got to think there's a lot of games. I think Indiana went 16-0. So if you go the whole distance, it's a short off season for you. Now, if you're fortunate enough to make the college football playoffs, but ultimately the end game, the date of the end game needs to be pushed up by at least 2 weeks, and so that means you can start the season 2 weeks earlier, maybe even a month earlier, and see where you go from there.
So you'd like to see the season start like August 15th or something like that.
Yeah.
What would camp day be, like July, like right after the 4th of July?
Yeah, August 15th, you'd be in July 15th. You're right after the 4th of July. You get like 10-11 days, and so really a week before you got to go into camp, and so you can kind of get guys here. There's no high school obligations. There's not a lot going on recruiting wise. I think it might even be a dead period in July, and so I think it could work out. Now you would change the whole recruiting calendar, but I think it would work out real well. You could have the recruiting calendar or the blackout date start at or beginning of July through July 4th weekend, and then just go from there.
And if they expand a playoff, would you like to see conference championships go away? Because you'd maybe have to get rid of that, because that's another added week in there if you wanted to expand a playoff.
It depends if you're not gonna how much weight a college or a conference championship would weigh. If it's not gonna mean anything, or if it's gonna be like, okay, the regular season winner is kind of playing with house money, kind of like a little bit like how Kansas State was when they lost to TCU in the Big 12 a couple years ago. That might work, but ultimately, how much weight do you put on the conference championship game?
And then what does that mean for the future of bowl games? Because bowl games obviously have lost their luster, but I'm a big bowl games guy.
I like bowl games.
I love bowl games.
I do not buy into this bowl game thing. Doesn't mean anything. You can always get something positive out of the bowl game. You get 30 extra days, 15 practices. You get young guys in there. You should always coach to win. If you're not trying to coach to win every single game that you're coaching, you definitely aren't a winner.
Well, and then it's also you think about like a Toledo or something like that. That's a huge moment for them to go to insert name, whether that be Ford Field for the game in Detroit or whatever. That's a huge moment for them.
You always got to try to win. And look, man, as much as you're worried about somebody seeing one of your good players, there's plenty of players out there that you could possibly go get as well. As exuding confidence and talking about it are two different things. Actions over words.
Yeah, what a Monday it was here on Old School across the board. Nice
Elite 11 come Wednesday, baby.
Yeah, we'll dive into a lot of that in the hit and rate miss. I'm going to let you do your homework. You're going to bring some words of wisdom to me. I'm going to need you, no computer. You're going to list the names for me, and we're going to figure out the percentages.
I'm going to have it ready, man.
Jay's doing his homework. Yeah. Till then, I will fill tomorrow. 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Old School. We'll be back tomorrow for an hour in the pit after that, and then back on normal schedule for Old School. 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. We'll be right back.